We've done a fantastic job. So, General, please don't lump us in with all those nonsensical, idiotic channels. Thank you very much. Yes.
You didn't let me finish.
Oh, right. Okay. Right. I just wanted to set the record straight.
I was about to bring out that you were so responsible yesterday, and I was planning to flag a couple of issues before I go further.
Right.
You know, when this news about this F-16 came down and the pilot being captured, I remember very clearly you were on the air and you said, I will not take up till the time I have very clear, inputs about it. Unfortunately, some of our other media outlets were not following it professionally. I was trying to put a larger point. So what has happened yesterday, by and large, is just a day when both the countries were trying to find a situation which provides a exit route from this current situation. We do not want to escalate, neither does Pakistan. But where the situation is right now, for Pakistan to off-ramp it at this stage would leave its armed forces, which are supposed to be the ones controlling the entire nation as such. It will be a huge loss of credibility for him. So he would like to do some kind of a drama. It could be more in the influence ops, something which he'll not do and try and claim it also. So these kind of things likely to happen in the next couple of days. He will definitely not want this situation to escalate any further than where we are already, because war is not something that he is capable of extending for a duration more than at best 7 days. And India also at this current stage possibly does not want any kind of a war. So we are in a stalemate kind of a situation where you will find air sirens going up time and again. You will find, AD guns firing flares as a prophylactic fire. Counter drone operations will continue happening. There will be lots of reports which will keep figuring, because the game is going to be played in the influence of domain, as I say it. People will try and achieve something which they have not physically done, but try and claim something which will provide them the route to tell their masses that the war has been exited at their own standing. So I'm looking the situation as I look at it is where we were on the 7th of May. We have been able to hold our own. We have not given the enemy an opportunity to do a swift retort, what he did within 24 hours in this last occasion. He is at the moment feeling strangulated because he's unable to, tell his masses that his army is superior. He will continue in his efforts and we have to hold on. And I must say that our forces on ground are doing a wonderful job. And I will also take a half a minute more to decouple a couple of issues, Rahul. What is happening on the line of control is possibly not a result of what happened on 7th of May. Line of control went hot the day we put the Indus Water Treaty on abeyance.
Yes.
And he said that he is walking out of the Shimla agreement. Thereafter, the line of control went hot. Initially, it was small arms fire. It has gradually upgraded itself to artillery shellings. While we are shelling his posts, he is shelling civilian areas, and he is resorted to using this as a kind of a tactic to put pressure on us from the civilian side to stop firing on his posts, because he is more worried about his posts, whereas we are not worried about our posts as much as our civil population which is residing in and around our posts. So that is another thing which I'd like you to communicate to your channel, that these are two differently linked things. What is happening in the rest of India is a response to what happened on 7th of May. What is happening on the line of control is an extension of what started maybe around 26th, 27th of April. And it is gradually escalating in that particular thing. When that has to come down would be when we go back and say we should stop firing. There has to be a meeting. We have to say we should stop using large caliber weapons. So possibly artillery will come down. It will come down to smaller caliber infantry weapons and then subsequently to small arms fire. I don't see the LC becoming cool, at least for the next 5 to 6 months. So that is going to be an ongoing thing. And hopefully this trans-border shelling over a period of time could stop, because it is leading to large amount of civilian casualties, which is not desirable. And that is something we from the media should try and, propagate internationally as to how, human rights are being violated by our adversary by firing into non-military areas.
Well, let me open this up, because it's an interesting point. Yes, we've undertaken a diplomatic offensive, but haven't we been doing that for about 70 years now? And it hasn't really made much of a difference. So clearly some people will call for a different kind of response. But just stay with me, sir. I want to involve the others also, but not before bringing out this breaking news. Defense officials have spoken to your channel viewers, and they have said that the made in India Akash surface-to-surface missile. We've talked a lot about the imported S400, but the Akash has been the backbone of this air defense system. It's indigenous and then effectively used by the Indian Armed Forces in foiling Pakistani attacks towards Indian targets. Both the Indian Army and Air Force have the missile system all along the Pakistan border. Akash Sharma with more on this. Akash, this is a big feather in our cap, isn't it?
Yes, and Rahul, just a while back we were talking about Rajnath Singh meeting DRDO chief. Here comes the role of DRDO. This missile system is in fact developed by DRDO only, and we have both Indian Army, and Indian Air Force equipped with Akash missile. We have been told that on the entire Western Front, this missile, in fact, the system played a crucial role. This is a medium-range surface-to-air missile with a range of 30 to 45 kilometers initial range, and with we have got an extended range as well. And it can carry 60 kg of high explosives, and it was very effective against the aerial threats that were coming last night, starting from 8 p.m., starting from Jammu to entire Western Front on different military stations. So we have seen that how these attempts were thwarted. And Akash, surface to air missile defense system played an important role. Both Indian Army and Indian Air Force were engaging these various targets. Of course, along with Akash, there were some other systems as well. You rightly pointed out, S400 was also there. Other systems were also there. AD guns were there. But as far as Akash is concerned, so it has played a crucial role, Rahul.
Absolutely. And of course, more interesting news coming through now in the Samba sector of Jammu. Frontier BSF in the intervening night of 8th and 9th of May 2025 thwarted an infiltration attempt by a big group of terrorists that had been detected. There you can see that is the munition that is going off, nailing these individuals. Let's try to get more on this with Tejinder Singh, who has of course been our man in Jammu and Kashmir. This infiltration bid was supported by fire from Pak Rangers post Dhandar, and it is the Dhandar post that we took down, viewers, with incredible alacrity, and you can see that on your screen. Tejinder, give us a quick update of what we're seeing on this video, fantastic video footage that has been released.
Indeed, Rahul, last night at 11 p.m., the Pakistan Rangers, they tried to push in a group of infiltrators from the international border in the Samba sector. A group of 7 infiltrators linked with the Jaish-e-Mohammed terror outfit, and they were heavily armed. They were attempting to sneak into the Indian side, and Pakistan Rangers post on the other side of the international border called Dhandar post. They resorted to unprovoked cross-border firing to facilitate this infiltration bid of the terrorist. However, the alert border security force personnel, they not only thwarted this infiltration bid by the Pakistani terrorist, but also decimated the Dhandar post of the Pakistan Rangers. The visuals which we have accessed clearly show how the Pakistani post has been completely decimated by the targeted fire of the border security force. And this entire infiltration bid has also been foiled. 7 terrorists who tried to sneak into the Indian side have also been neutralized. The border security force on the entire stretch of international border is on a heightened alert, given the fact that they have inputs that Pakistan would try to push in terrorists into the Indian side. Yes, Rahul.
Okay, just stay on with me. I also want to bring in Arunima on this footage. Dramatic footage, Arunima. Can you describe what's happening here?
So this is the Dhandar post of Pakistan. This is where Pakistani Rangers last night were giving covering fire to a group of infiltrators. The security grid believes that these infiltrators were Jaish-e-Mohammed terrorists who were trying to cross over from the Samba sector. Around 11 p.m. last night, the BSF, alert BSF sentries who were carrying out their surveillance, they spotted this group crossing over. They were challenged and subsequently fired at, and immediately post that, BSF says Pakistani Rangers started giving them covering fire. So this video that we are putting out is what the CCTV powerful cameras placed at the border has captured of the Pakistani post being destroyed by the border security force. These 7 infiltrators have also been killed. They have been taken down. The assessment is that there were more, but 7 have been taken down. Rest could have fled, or perhaps they have been their bodies injured, or their bodies have been dragged back by the Pakistani Rangers who were trying to give them cover fire.
Absolutely, a fantastic exposition really of the alertness of our forces there. And now this has been ongoing, hasn't it? I think we have been able to, Arunima, factor this obvious attempt by the Pakistanis to try and use other means, unconventional means, to try and take advantage. They're not getting through the air, they're not getting through by any other means, so they're trying all of this, isn't it? This is what it shows.
Yes, one must give the credit that is due to our armed forces, to our intelligence agencies who are picking up intelligence inputs continuously. It is based on the intelligence inputs that the precision strikes were carried out in Operation Sindoor. And even now, the way there is coordination, perfect coordination between the Indian Army, the Indian Air Force, the Border Security Force, the integrated command is at work right now. This footage shows that, and this is around 11 o'clock. So just as, India was taking down the swarm of drones from Pakistan, all the way from Jammu till Gujarat, when each city was sounding out alerts, BSF was still keeping its eye on the international border, not letting its guard down. It was its surveillance wing which picked up this movement around the Samba border, immediately fired at, and even the cover fire that came from Pakistani Rangers did not deter our brave BSF men, and they managed to take down 7 infiltrators. These infiltrators believed to be from Jaish-e-Mohammed. So even as Pakistan internationally is trying to show that it has nothing to do with Pahalgam, that it is the victim and India is the aggressor, here is more proof of what Pakistan is up to. Why were the Rangers trying to give covering fire to these infiltrators if they had nothing to do with the infiltration attempt?
Absolutely. Viewers, also, of course, while we are thwarting Pakistan on the ground and in the air, we're also trying to change public opinion. That is, thwart it in the mind games, in the psych games, in using psychological warfare, as well as, of course, conventional diplomacy. And talking about conventional diplomacy, Indian diplomacy has been at work 24/7. This time, we are exceeding even our own expectations. Indian envoys across the world doing outreach to local governments and local media. 200 plus missions across the world are engaging in active outreach programs. Siddhant Mishra is here with us. Siddhant, this is an attempt now to label Pakistan a terrorist state. This is very important because punitive sanctions will follow if we succeed. Put it all in context for our viewers.
Well, that's right, Rahul. The non-kinetic diplomatic outreach is perhaps underway. And in fact, we have been told, Rahul, that 200 plus missions have been told to go out and do outreach with the local newspapers, local television networks, social media influencers. In fact, doing interviews by going to the studios, perhaps that gives more impact to the content. So, this is being done, and especially countries like US and UK, perhaps their envoys have been told to speak to media to do outreach. And in fact, not just envoys, Rahul, even other diplomats at the missions are also going out to meet people in the governments, journalists, influencers. And in fact, as far as United States is concerned, then we have also been told that Indian officials are going and personally meeting senators, congressmen in United States. Perhaps individual briefings are also being done by the Indian government officials, perhaps, so that they get a clear picture of what is happening as far as this escalation is concerned. The Indian side position is very clear, Rahul. In fact, Foreign Secretary Vikram Misri also reiterated yesterday that the first and only escalation that happened was on 22nd of April. Perhaps India responded to that escalation. India's response was measured, controlled and responsible. India did not touch military installations and civilian locations. Perhaps because Pakistan again tried engaging with Indian military installations at various locations, India again responded. And when India responded back, in that, Lahore air defense systems were brought down. and in fact many other key Pakistani locations were also targeted. So India is very transparent. India is keeping things very transparently, and also Rahul, this is being done. This outreach is being done ahead of crucial IMF meeting.
Yes.
And also India does not want to give up on the narrative
let me
which
give
India
you-
has successfully managed to build in last 3 weeks.
Okay, let me give you viewers a sample of this outreach. Vinay Quatra, India's envoy to the US, giving an interview to CNN. And look at what he says and how he articulates it, because it's very important to understand what the thrust is. The thrust is that Pakistan is an aggressor state. Pakistan is a rogue, irresponsible, terror-sponsoring state. And that's the central messaging. You'll hear it from all politicians here in India in one voice, because that's the truth. And you'll hear it now diplomatically from all those that are engaging with foreign governments. Let's listen in.
The situation, the tensions between these two nuclear-powered countries, India and Pakistan, is escalating. Is that true?
Well, first of all, thank you so much for having me on the CNN. When you talk of tensions and when you talk of escalation, what I would say is that the original escalation or the original breakout of tension happened on 22nd of April, when you had 4 terrorists backed by Pakistan carried out killings, brutal killings, subhuman, monstrous kind of killings of 26 civilians.
Indian civilians.
25 of them Indian nationals, 1 of them Nepali national. And the brutality of the killings, they essentially kill them in front of their innocent wives, in front of their innocent children. They gave them headshots, and they did so on the basis of religion. So they killed all non-Muslims who were there in the group. They identified their religion, and then they went on to proceed to kill them. So what we did day before yesterday was essentially our response to terror, our response to these subhuman...
When you say what you did yesterday, meaning the escalation
Day
in the
before
military
yesterday.
response.
As I said, the original escalation was on 22nd of April. And when that happened, we had clearly said that, we are a responsible country. We will have a very measured, calibrated, proportionate, responsible response. And that's what we did day before yesterday. What we did was we took out the terror factories at 9 locations in Pakistan and in Pakistan-occupied Kashmir. Took them out where they trained them, they equipped them, they armed them, they organized them. Those are the facilities which we took out. We were very careful in excluding the military establishment, the socialist structures, and economic infrastructure. We were very, very cautious, careful in keeping our targets only to those people and their backers who carried out these dastardly killings on the 22nd.
What can you tell us, Mr. Ambassador, about these explosions that are now being heard in the Indian-administered parts of Kashmir?
Yeah. First of all, I'm sorry, but let me correct you that the entire Jammu and Kashmir is a integral and inalienable part of India, and I think the only issue to be resolved there is the return of the Pakistan-occupied Kashmir, which is there. We have been hearing reports of some activity of this kind. We don't have the operational details relating to that. But again, what these show is that what it shows the world, what it shows us, what it shows everybody is that Pakistan has again decided to stand with the terrorist. Rather than take action against them, they are essentially lending them support. We wouldn't be surprised if they are themselves involved in this, but that's what is the message which they are telling the world, that we are with terrorists, we are not with the rest of the civilized world, rest of the humanity, and our belief lies, and Pakistan's belief lies in perpetrating these proxies of terror, killing, brutal killings of the innocent civilians.
And as you know, Pakistan has denied involvement. We will have the Pakistani ambassador later on today on CNN. But just bottom line, how would you describe the situation right now with Pakistan? Of course, India and Pakistan are 2 nuclear powers. Are you at war right now?
To your first point about Pakistan's denial, that has always been the first part of Pakistani strategy, denial and obfuscation. you could, and they have this unique characteristic where they assume responsibility of their past actions in future, not in the present moment. 9/11, where was Osama bin Laden found? World Trade Center bombings of 93, the perpetrator of that. Where was the killer of Daniel Pearl found? 26/11 Mumbai attacks, where American nationals also died. Where were those perpetrators found? And this is not me telling you this. This is the few days ago, the Defense Minister of Pakistan openly admitted this on the Sky News network, that we have been supporting terrorism for last 30 years.
This is a report I'm reading from Reuters based on 2 US officials telling Reuters this. They're saying it's the first time that Western officials have confirmed that there was high confidence that Pakistan had used the Chinese-made J-10 aircraft to launch air-to-air missiles against Indian fighter jets, bringing down at least 2.
This is something that, let's ask Reuters. But my larger sense is that there is no evidence of that. We haven't actually confirmed any such thing. The better point is to ask actually if all of this is true and if Pakistan has essentially succeeded in making its point as it wanted to, why are they not stopping? The question you have to ask yourself, however, is the other one, which is that if Pakistan says it's retaliating, as my colleague, the Pakistan High Commissioner said here yesterday, what are they retaliating about? They're retaliating against attacks on terrorism infrastructure. So what does that tell you of their relationship with the terror groups?
Well, they're saying that they're distancing themselves completely from Pahalgam, and they're saying they had nothing to do with it. They've said that they've asked for an investigation, and India has refused an international investigation that they were happy to cooperate in.
Well, this is a story we've heard multiple times before. In 2016, after the Pathankot attack, which you referred to, we offered them an unprecedented amount of access to an Indian Air Force base, which had been attacked at Pathankot. DNA samples, telephone records, the whole works. It was supposed to be a joint investigation. We never got invited for the second part of it. And frankly, each time, if you go all the way back to 2008 to the Mumbai terror attacks, where a substantial amount of information and material evidence was provided to the world and to Pakistan, who made the same generous offer of cooperation, all they've used it for is to hide their tracks and to take away fundamentally what are assets of their deep state.
High Commissioner, I just have a minute left, but I've spoken to a retired general who in Pakistan who referenced India funding and backing the Baluch Liberation Army. They've said that they have done that for years, and when I asked him about Masood Azhar, he said, well, their family members were targeted. Should we be doing the same to, the high-level militants from the BLA, the Baluch Liberation Army, that are seen and operate within Delhi?
Well, look, let me show you this photograph of yesterday, I believe it is, to your viewers. This person here is a sanctioned terrorist under the American sanctions regime. His name is Hafiz Abdur Rauf. He's a brother of the founder of the terrorist groups that you're mentioning. Look who's behind him, Pakistani military. Look at the coffins there. They have the Pakistani national flag. If you're going to be giving terrorists state funerals, what does that make of your system? And everybody knows that for the last 30 years, Pakistan has used this as a means of subcritical warfare against India. If the international community really wants to be able to look at this and worry about it, the simple solution is to tell Pakistan it has an opportunity for an off-ramp. These are things that the world should have compelled Pakistan to do 30 years ago, and to compel them to implement their promises about taking down this infrastructure. It has not done so.
We can't verify these images ourselves, and this is part of one of the problems, High Commissioner, that both sides, there's a lot of information coming out, but independent journalists, foreign journalists are not being given access. The Pakistanis have said, to me, you're free to come to the sites that have been targeted, and we can take you to the line of control as well with the military to show you what's been hit and targeted. And in the same way, the information that we find that we're getting out of, and this image that you've shown was shown at a press conference that the military in Delhi put out as well. But that is part of the problem here as well, isn't it, High Commissioner? I mean, there is an information warfare that's taking place, and independent journalists can't seem to get access to either side.
Well, look, it is a fluid situation out there. I don't know how helpful it would be to have independent journalists or any kind of journalists wandering around in an area where there is active military operations happening. The logical solution would be, as we've said repeatedly, for Pakistan to take the opportunity of an off-ramp, which we have made abundantly clear, including this morning, that if Pakistan stops attacking our military facilities, the matter ends there. But it is for them to decide.
Viewers, that's the thrust and parry of India's defense there. Label Pakistan a terror state. We're producing the evidence. We're speaking to those that matter. Of course, the Western media, as you know, viewers, has been blinkered and has nursed a bias. And that's very, very clear sometimes from their own reportage. But I'm not going to pass judgment. I'm going to take a short break. When we come back, we're going to discuss a few of these scenarios with our guests. Don't go away.
line of control. This is in the Digwar sector of Poonch. The Indian Army is retaliating effectively and very, very strongly. But from the Pakistani guns, there has been damage to civilian areas. And Poonch has borne quite the brunt of it between 7th, 8th and 9th. Tejinder Sodhi joins us with more. Yes, Tejinder.
Anand, you see, Pakistan has been continuously targeting the civilian population, and this time they are using the Chinese-made SH-15 self-propelled Howitzer guns, which are made by China's Norinco, and they are being used by the Pakistan Army to target the civilian population. These guns they, have an extended range, so they are being used to target the civilian population in Poonch, in Uri, and in other parts of Jammu and Kashmir along the line of control. Though the Indian Army is giving a befitting response to Pakistan, but there has been civilian casualties. One woman has lost her life in Uri, 3 others have been injured in Poonch. 1 civilian has been killed in the Pakistani aggression. So Pakistan continues to violate the ceasefire along the line of control. There was another incident of cross-border firing in the Samba sector, wherein the border security force foiled a major infiltration bid from across the border. Several terrorists who were attempting to infiltrate into the Indian side, they were also eliminated by the border security force. So the situation along the entire stretch of line of control in Jammu and Kashmir remains tense. There has been several incidents of ceasefire violation in the Karna-Keran sector of Kupwara district, but yes, the Indian Army is paying in an equal caliber to Pakistan. The retaliation is on. There has been firing going on in several locations in Poonch, Rajouri right now as we speak. In Digwar sector, Pakistan once again targeted the civilian population, but the Indian Army is right now responding in an equitable manner to the Pakistani aggression. Yes, Anand.
Well, thank you for that update, Tejinder. Stay safe. There has been a lot of pounding that Jammu region also and Jammu city has endured, and but it's all been thwarted. It's been thwarted by our defense systems and our mechanism. Lieutenant Colonel Atul Holkar is with us. Geopolitical expert is joining us. We also have Group Captain MJ Augustine Vinod with us at this point.
Viewers, what India will say at the IMF meet is critical because this is a make or break moment for Indian diplomacy. We have to convince the international community, specifically the IMF, not to make a loan to Pakistan. Pakistan doesn't deserve it. It's a terror state. It enables terror. It will use that money for terror. Pakistan has had 24 bailouts, but none of them show any development on ground for the people. They got about $1.3 billion for climate change work, but none was used, as you all know. The funds are always diverted, and I'm not saying this. It has been very well established by a large number of independent auditors, globally well-known, reputable companies and auditors that have gone out there and looked at the expenditure, the diversion of funds. Pallavi is with us. Pallavi, this is a crucial meeting, isn't it?
That's right. So, we know that later tonight, India time, is when the IMF meeting will begin. And basically, the IMF meeting also decides on how much of funds which have to be given to any country. Now, these funds are technically meant for development work. Rahul, we've already seen that posturing which is coming in from Pakistan. The Economic Affairs Wing of Pakistan government has already put out a post saying that we have been so badgered by the Indian attack on us and Operation Sindoor that we are completely depleted with our funds. And that is the plea which Pakistan is going to be taking at the international platform, not just tonight, but also later, that, because of Indian action, we have no money. And as a result of which, it's the common man of Pakistan who's going to suffer. Well, all that point by point rebuttal has been prepared by India. A verbal communication has already gone in. But tonight when the meeting begins, India time, our executive director over there is going to raise a couple of points. 1.3 billion was a recent bailout given to Pakistan. Where has that money been used? Actually, Rahul, that money was meant for climate change development work. Do you see anything on the ground? That's what India is going to be asking. Why is it in the last 6 months we've seen a spike as far as Pak terror or defense budgeting is concerned? Where is that money coming in from if Pakistan is insisting that they don't have money? So clearly the funds are being diverted. Also, it's already got 24 bailouts on different yardsticks, for development work. Where are the roads? Where are the infrastructural facilities which have been provided for the common man? So the points have been prepared. The argument is going to be very, very aggressive. And that's the point which is going to be given, that it's not just India. Tomorrow, everyone is going to suffer if you're going to keep on giving money to Pakistan, because they run a school of terror which funds terror acts across various spectrums, whether it's the Jaish, whether it's Lashkar-e-Taiba, or whether it is the Hamas, because it is all of them are trained in Pakistan's school of terror.
True. So Pallavi, thank you very much for that update. All eyes will be on that meeting. The IMF is, of course, also populated by an Indian representative. So that helps build leverage. But let's just open this up, because non-kinetic options are, of course, mid to long term. They will only bear fruit in the mid to long term. We have had the IMF as well as other international global organizations pulling back from funding Pakistan. It doesn't really make a material difference in the long run. What does our kinetic options that India has undertaken and some other punitive sanctions that India has imposed, which are of course non-kinetic but of more immediate value. But let's just open this up and analyze right now the kinetic options and the last 24 hours. Nishikanta Singh, General Nishikanta Singh is here with us, the defense expert. Let me bring you into it. General Saab, look, fundamentally, we can talk about all the 9 non-kinetic options. We can talk about diplomacy. We can talk about India exerting pressure through the United Nations, through other foreign governments. But eventually, we have to do things that make sense in the immediate so that we can get respite from Pak-based terror. And Pakistan yesterday, you've seen their response. They've been strafing different parts of the Indian positions. They've tried to attack us at our bases, and of course they've been targeting civilians. Now, what do you think has been the Indian response to this? What should it be? Where should it stop? Or should we now call it all off?
Thank you, Rahul, for having me here. I'll put it this way. Thank you, Rahul, for having me here. I'll put it this way. India has been, in fact, very benign with the Pakistanis. We did not target their military. We targeted terrorist infrastructures which has been existing for years. These infrastructures were there when I was in service, when I was handling Pakistan. So I'm quite aware of each and every one of them. But we did not go for military targets. And in fact, Pakistan should be thanking us because they are unable to control these terrorists. And we have decided to punish them. The other way to look is that the Pakistani forces considers these terrorists as strategic assets. They consider it as strategic assets, so they have no qualms about hobnobbing with them. But having said that, the Pakistan started this 22nd April attack with possibly as the sole aim that the army chief's extension and preparing ground for a coup if required. I wouldn't be surprised if there is a coup in Pakistan in near future, and the chief continuing as the head of the state, because all other politicians are just for the sake of them. Now, coming down to the what options have we got? I think Pakistan being a very, very shallow country, it is right only up to Indus. Beyond Indus, the population does not support the Pakistani government. So now is the time for us to exert maximum punishment on the Pakistan so that they are deterred for at least 10 years or 15 years from repeating these silly adventures and trying to keep on every time rack up the issue. If we do not punish them, they will again start up the whole thing. They will say, no, let us investigate, let us do this, that. So my opinion is that now we have an opportunity. We are in the upper, we have an advantage. We must punish them and punish them adequately. And the serving military officers, serving Air Force officers, naval officers are quite aware what is to be done. It does not require people, retired people like us. But my recommendation would be, unless forced upon, we must continue and ensure that the deterrence is created in the mind of the Pakistani military especially.
General Sharma, that's very well put. Now let me bring in General Sharma, Major General Sharma. Major General Sharma, yes, we have been very, very considerate in one sense, making a great distinction between the Pakistani military, the Pakistani state, and of course all these terror tanzeems. But Pakistan hasn't respected that. They've targeted our military infrastructure, at least they've tried to, they've not succeeded. But that has been because of our abilities. Has the time come where we now cross the Rubicon and we punish them where it matters most? We hit their military targets and go up the escalation chain. And do you think we've done this over the last 24 hours?
A very good morning to you, Rahul, and a very good morning to my fellow panelists. Thank you so very much for having me on the channel. Yes, you have put in a very, very apt sort of a question. You see, Rahul, if we analyze as to what has happened over the last 24 hours, especially we'll talk of, before I get on to the escalation ladder, I'll put it in correct perspective that we have been very...
could you just tilt down your frame a little bit, sir? General Saab, yes, that's right. Perfect. Yes, great. Brilliant. Yeah.
So we've been very restrained in whatever we have responded to the other side. Now, in the last, like you were talking of whatever they have thrown at us, it's been in immense quantity. Let's talk of the drones and the missile attacks, what they've brought in and how we should respond to that. The drones, as you're aware, Rahul, and so as are other people aware, are of various sizes and meant for different sort of tasks which they have been given. Most of the drones and the spottings which have been done, if you see, are right across from our base camp to Leh, to Lama Yaru, coming down to Jammu, then to Poonch, all areas of Jammu. So much so coming down to Gujarat, where there's the place called Lakinara near Bhuj, where we've, Now, these drones have been not a single one of them have been able to cause any sort of a thing. A damage to any of our property.
General Sharma, that's well known. But our response, I don't know about our response. There was a lot of talk last night about us doing some action across the LOC in Pakistan proper beyond the terror tanzeems. Do you think that has happened? What are you picking up?
No, what I am picking up, Rahul, that presently it is still, we are very, very much restrained. We still, I personally feel, giving outlet to Pakistan to still mend its ways, get out somehow the way it wants. Otherwise, it would be punished. From what I have come to know is that over a period of time, maybe in a day or so, this escalation from our end is going to increase. Wherein the military, sort of.
Okay, I don't want to get ahead of ourselves. So let's not give away anything, but possibly you might be right. I just want to also bring to the attention of our viewers how the Prime Minister batted for the S400 and the Rafale. If you remember, India's ace weapons against Pakistan. It's a story in itself because a lot of resistance from the establishment, a lot of resistance from the opposition, a lot of resistance from the international community, particularly the United States, that was trying to lobby against both these companies. So Mr. Modi did go out there and he put a lot of capital on the line. Aman Sharma has more details. Aman, this is an important thing to talk about in the current context, isn't it?
Well, Rahul, that is what government sources are now telling us, that, the Rafales, which are fitted with the Scalp missiles, and the S400 defense system, which was provided to us by Russia, is known as Sudarshan Chakra in IF parlance also. These two have proved to be the aces for India when it comes to, the present Operation Sindoor, as well as the conflict which is going on with Pakistan. If I take you back to the S400, India signed this deal with Russia in 2018 for 3 squadrons of S400. It's the world's best weapon to counter missiles, to counter drones, to counter fighter jets. And at that time, you will remember that the former Trump administration, the previous Trump administration, had said that it is not in favor of India doing this. It had even threatened sanctions against India. The former Biden administration also discouraged India from going ahead with S-400. But the Prime Minister was very, very convinced that we need this weapon, especially because the threat we were also facing with China at that time, the tensions which are going on with China. And in the present conflict, Rahul, S-400 has proved to be a complete ace. We have seen what happened last night along with the Akash missile defense system. Not even one projectile of Pakistan was allowed to, hit any target. We could repulse the attack totally. When it comes to the Rafale, see, even that we remember how government sources are pointing out that how the Congress party launched an offensive, that how can Mr. Modi go to France and sign a government-to-government deal. All sorts of allegations were made. Of course, the government got a green signal from the Supreme Court. All these allegations were quashed. But look at what has happened now. With the help of the Rafale, we have been able to strike as deep as Bhavalpur in Pakistan, which is 100 kilometers, away from the border. The Rafale did not even have to cross the border, and these French Scalp missiles were used to strike as deep as Bhavalpur, where the maximum damage has been inflicted. The family of Maulana Masood Azhar has been wiped out, including his brother, who was also the de facto head of Jaish. That is what the Indian government is claiming. So Modi government not only fought, pressure from inside the political class in the country, the opposition class, but also from outside and from big powers like the US. But Mr. Modi was firm on this conviction that we need these two weapons, and that is the success is now showing, Rahul.
Absolutely. That is indeed a very important point that you've made. Now, I just want to quickly ask you this because, and let me try to bring in, if we have with us our guest still, if we can go straight across to the Wing Commander there. Wing Commander Sudhakaran, if you can just talk us through the Rafale, which are armed with the Scalp missiles, and of course the S-400s. How do they all work in conjunction? This is an important aspect really of our air defense, isn't it? And offense.
See, this works in a very integrated fashion under the integrated air command and control system. Everything works in tandem. There is a global air situation picture. Then there are regional air situation pictures which are distributed across the nodes. And then there are, larger radars which look into thousands of kilometers, which are long surveillance radars, which are operational 24/7. And specifically in conflict times like this, it is at a heightened state of readiness called R1. We generally go into state of readiness called R1, R2, R3. So now I presume it will be in a status of at least R2, wherein it is 5 minutes ready for combat. And R1 is ready to combat any second. So that's how this pans out. But having said that, and having heard you, I would like to also present 2 or 3 points from my side, wherein the discourse needs to be seen in light of these facts that we sometimes are missing. We are all over the place here. Have you ever seen a boxer winning a boxing match, purely defending? No, it is not the case.
So 1 second, sir. Wing Commander, I have to take a short break. I'll just come back to you. You're making a very important point and I value it. I'm just going to come right back after this short break. We'll bring you back there. It's an important point that Sudhakaranji was making. Let's just go in for a short break.
Mahi sir, हम
of control This is in the Digwar sector of Poonch. The Indian Army is retaliating effectively and very, very strongly. But from the Pakistani guns, there has been damage to civilian areas. And Poonch has borne quite the brunt of it between 7th, 8th and 9th. Tejinder Sodhi joins us with more. Yes, Tejinder.
Anand, you see, Pakistan has been continuously targeting the civilian population, and this time they are using the Chinese-made SH-15 self-propelled Howitzer guns, which are made by China's Norinco, and they are being used by the Pakistan Army to target the civilian population. These guns they, have an extended range, so they are being used to target the civilian population in Poonch, in Uri, and in other parts of Jammu and Kashmir along the line of control. Though the Indian Army is giving a befitting response to Pakistan, but there has been civilian casualties. One woman has lost her life in Uri, 3 others have been injured in Poonch. 1 civilian has been killed in the Pakistani aggression. So Pakistan continues to violate the ceasefire along the line of control. There was another incident of cross-border firing in the Samba sector, wherein the border security force foiled a major infiltration bid from across the border. Several terrorists who were attempting to infiltrate into the Indian side, they were also eliminated by the border security force. So the situation along the entire stretch of line of control in Jammu and Kashmir remains tense. There has been several incidents of ceasefire violation in the Karna Keran sector of Kupwara district, but yes, the Indian Army is paying in an equal caliber to Pakistan. The retaliation is on. There has been firing going on in several locations in Poonch, Rajouri right now as we speak. In Digwar sector, Pakistan once again targeted the civilian population, but the Indian Army is right now responding in an equitable manner to the Pakistan.
Well, viewers, this is ongoing coverage here on your channel, CNN News 18, of the entire widening conflict between India and Pakistan. Quite clearly, viewers, the events of last night have left no one under any other illusion but the fact that Pakistan is spoiling for a contest that it is going to lose, certainly. Yesterday, all its attempts at trying to provoke India failed miserably because our forces stood rock solid and completely overwhelmed Pakistan in its attempt to try and unleash mayhem in our country. The only thing that Pakistan hit yesterday, viewers, regrettably, because it is a terrorist state and it has no respect for humanity, were innocent civilians, a large number of their munitions lying in fields all over the country, around the border, viewers, because they simply failed. A lot of them are Chinese munitions, scrap, garbage, sasta, but not even tikau. I want to quickly give you an update at the top of noon and give you an entire 360 of all the developments. As we speak, viewers, Tri-Services chiefs are meeting Rajnath Singh amid the escalating India-Pakistan tensions. All 3 service chiefs are at the South Block holding a crucial meeting on the developing security situation with Defence Minister Rajnath Singh. An important meeting because Rajnath Singh is going to take all these details and he is then going to brief the Prime Minister. There's also going to be, of course, talk about the exercise of options. Day 3, viewers, for the 3rd day, MEA is going to be holding a news briefing. And that news briefing is going to tell us a little bit more about what was India's response to the belligerence exhibited by Pakistan. Key finance ministry meeting because India needs to make a pitch at the IMF to prevent a bailout package that Pakistan is aiming for and also try and get it listed on the grey list of the FATF. So that's very important. That action is taking place as we speak. Fresh ceasefire violations by Pakistan are taking place all along the northern frontier. In fact, a large number of alarms have been sounded in Punjab because that seems to be the focus right now. of the Pakistani military. Major infiltration bid has been foiled. BSF troops foiled a major infiltration bid at the international boundary in Samba district. Intel sources say as many as 7 Jaish terrorists were neutralized by our forces. There's also some riveting footage which we should play out, viewers, of a particular border post that was giving covering fire to this infiltration bid was completely knocked out of the ground. Debris of suspected projectiles have been found. A missile-like used weapon was found in Bathinda and Hoshiarpur. The object appears even larger than a big drum. It's believed to be a part of a missile that was intercepted and destroyed mid-air by the Indian Army. Jammu and Kashmir Chief Minister taking stock there of some of the most affected areas, Rajouri and Poonch, and that is important, viewers, because some of those local civilians that have been targeted, some of them have lost their lives, have lost their livelihoods, have lost also their homes, and they will be requiring assistance. So the Chief Minister out there getting an assessment from the ground. Let's go straight across to some breaking news coming in. That meeting between Rajnath Singh and the Tri-Services chiefs is underway. We have some information coming through on that. We're being told that that particular meeting is crucial because a large amount of stock taking is underway. So the pictures coming in from that meeting, viewers, you can see our Tri-Services chiefs in their military uniforms that's sending a signal. Also, of course, sitting there with the RM. Arunima, what's the latest?
Yes, so that meeting, that briefing of the Raksha Mantri has begun. The Tri-Service Chief, the Chief of Defence Staff, they're all there. CDS is there. Defence Secretary is also part of that meeting. What we are told is that the situation as it has unfolded overnight and the anticipation of what lies ahead, that's the core agenda of the briefing. The military leadership has a free hand in deciding the way they want to respond. But of course, the Raksha Mantri is being apprised of what lies in store as per the assessment being done by the military intelligence, by the external intelligence wing of this country, and the overall assessment on the ground. We do know that Pakistan's misadventure yesterday was thwarted by our air defense system, but the entire border is still on heightened alert. Yes, there is peace in Chandigarh, in Pathankot, in Jammu, in Srinagar, all the way up to Jaisalmer, but nobody is letting their guard down. So in that backdrop, Raksha Mantri is meeting the top defense leadership, and it is being speculated that after this meeting, post this meeting, Raksha Mantri could also meet the Prime Minister. Even as Pakistan continues to portray itself as the victim, India is going all out to ensure that there is no escalation on our part. We are only responding to Pakistani misadventure. And second, provide the right evidence. This is not just military strike which is happening. There's also evidence gathering that is happening simultaneously to show to the world how Pakistan is being provocative.
Absolutely. Just look at the body language around that table. How's the Josh? Hi, sir. They're all smiling. They're all looking very relaxed, Arunima. That's quite striking about this photo, isn't it? No tense faces, unlike what we saw from the Pakistan CDS meet a few days back, where Shehbaz Sharif was seated, ensconced with all his military paraphernalia and his military generals, who you can't tell the difference between them and, of course, terrorists, but nonetheless, they all look tense. Here, there looks a lot of confidence, and they're all wearing their combat uniforms.
Yes, Raksha Mantri, I think, is representing all of us, that sense of pride that India is feeling at the way our air defense system, worked yesterday. It was no small feat, all the way from the line of control, from Uri down all to Jaisalmer, the international border, the line of control, our entire border with Pakistan was on fire, but not a single casualty, not a single success of all the loitering munitions that were sent towards India's side by Pakistan. So it's a big moment for India's defense forces, and I think Raksha Mantri, like I said, is sharing that moment with them, representing all of us, conveying our gratitude, conveying a proud nation's feelings and emotions, but at the same time, everyone is on heightened alert, and that's what I think the combat uniform signifies, that yes, Operation Sindoor is on track. Yes, so far we have managed a success rate, but it is not over. We are still on heightened alert. be it our army, be it our air force, the navy, the border security force. And while we are showing this the picture that has come out of Raksha Mantri meeting the service chiefs, I can also tell you that on the other side, in North Block also, heightened meetings going on as far as the civilian area is concerned. Home Minister is meeting DG BSF shortly, and also DG CISF to take stock of what the airports, especially airports in forward areas, are facing at the moment and what more can be done to secure them.
Well, that's important. Parallel meetings, viewers, but the body language here quite significant. We had a great few days. Let's just hope that we don't tempt fate and God is kind, and our military has really kept us safe, viewers. And we usually don't appreciate their role. They are so in the background. They're so understated, so professional, that we forget that we owe our existence really in the face of these horrible neighbors that we have to them. I want to bring in Akash. Akash, these pictures obviously are also important because this is, yes, of course, there is levity in the room, but there will also be a lot of seriousness. This meeting has gone on for quite a while now, so clearly some decisions have to be taken and an assessment of the situation has to be made, Akash.
Right. Body language is telling us the entire story. Arunima pointed out that how, these, in fact, officials are briefing Raksha Mantri Rajnath Singh, and Defence Secretary is very much there. Defence Secretary is someone who heads, in fact, the administrative departments there in the Defence Ministry, and who takes care of the production, exports and everything else. We know that how our weapons and platforms have played an important role, and at this point in time, it is crucial to give a check on what kind of things we can have and what are the remaining things that are left with us, so that we can counter the future attacks as well. And the future planning is very important, Rahul. So possibly this meeting is to discuss the scenario, what happened actually last night, and what can happen. Intelligence, is there. A number of things are happening simultaneously. Even at this point in time, we are receiving several sort of inputs from across the border, and a number of things are happening. So this meeting is crucial, given the fact that how India is going to take the next step, what is going to be the future course of action at this point in time. We know that how all these drones and the missiles and in fact the artillery, that came towards the military infrastructure and the establishment here towards us, were thwarted and in fact were destroyed. But then what is going to happen next, what is going to be the next move of Pakistan, and how we are going to counter it is something that is very much on the agenda. And as of now, these officials, the three service chiefs, CDS
Yes.
and Defence Secretary, are meeting Raksha Mantri Rajnath Singh.
Absolutely. I also want to quickly go back to Arunima on that meeting the Union Home Minister Amit Shah is having with the chiefs of the BSF and the CISF. Important meeting, isn't that, Arunima, given the fact that there's been a heightened alert across airports also and other very important financial assets of the country, including, of course, defense production facilities.
Yes, Rahul, in Hindi they say kandhe se kandhe milakar kaam kar rahe hain. I think that best describes what the BSF is doing at the moment. While our Air Force and our Army are keeping us safe along the line of control on the international border, BSF too is doing everything in its capacity to keep each Indian safe. What we have seen in Samba, an infiltration attempt at around 11 o'clock last night, foiled 7 Jaish-e-Mohammed suspected infiltrators, gunned down. The post of Pakistan also demolished. Pakistani Rangers who were giving covering fire to these infiltrators, that post has been demolished completely. So BSF is doing a very good job on the international border, and Home Minister is constantly monitoring the situation with BSF. They're there under the command of the Indian Army at line of control. They are the primary border guarding force all across the international border, right from Jammu to Punjab to Gujarat to Rajasthan. So Home Minister's meeting is to take stock of the situation at the border, that the DG is going to apprise him, and also DG CISF, because our airports are also facing a threat from Pakistan, and therefore air security is important. DG CISF has had repeated meetings with the Home Minister over the last 2 days. One such meeting today, especially in light of airspace being controlled in some airports.
Right, stay on with me. I just want to quickly also go across to Wing Commander Sudhakaran, who was making a point. Wing Commander Sudhakaran, that meeting, those pictures, we're going to keep them there. We're also seeing, of course, the pictures of shelling, etc., etc. Now, the Indian response matters. Indian response matters. It has to be kinetic. That's what you were saying. or about to say when I cut you off. Yes, please go ahead.
No, what I was trying to tell you is the time for that strategic clarity that was missing in India last 70 years is now. Last 10 years, Modi had to build up to this point wherein he is today the undisputed leader of the Indian democracy. Our finance is at its best. Technologically, we are not lacking. Our weapon systems, though it is, desired to be better, but then it is good enough for the Pakistanis. This, if it is not now, it will be never. Okay. So let me drive the first point. That is that the time for strategic clarity is now. Have you ever seen that? What I was trying to tell you before you cut me was that have you ever seen a boxer winning a boxing championship just purely defending? See, victory demands dominance, resolve, and precision, not indecision masked as diplomacy. Every time the enemy is cornered in the past, we hit a pause. We de-escalate. We let them breathe. This rinse-repeat cycle has become our national habit. Short bursts of tactical successes followed by strategic hesitation. This has been our Achilles heel. The cost of this pattern isn't just economic, it's generational. My grandfather spent his life fighting this very problem. My father spent his life. I am spending this life. And if we let this go like this, my grandchildren will do the same. It is high time that we need to change this. History has warned us. Gori didn't win on merit. He tried 17 times and 17 times we gave a chance. And that is the root of the problem that we are facing today. The jihadi mindset, which removes your pants, checks your identity, and then kills you, and then tells your wife to go tell your prime minister that we will come again and do it again and again and again. And we are talking about restraint. We are talking about proportional response. See, this is where I want to quote Gita here. Gita chapter 18 verse 63 comes to my mind, wherein Lord Krishna tells to Arjuna that reflect on the truth deeply and then act as you wish. Moral clarity does not mean moral rigidity. Unorthodox action becomes dharma when the stakes are existential. That is what we need to adopt. So what I am trying to tell is, just give me 2 seconds. Yes. What I'm trying to tell is that have a double face here. Speak the right things, do what you want. And do till the time the enemy is on his knees. Okay. This is the time to press the cold start doctrine into action. 20 years back, you developed it. If you are not going to pressing into action, then there is no point in developing a doctrine like that. Go capture enemy territory in the next week, then go to the discussion table. Take POJK and Gilgit-Baltistan peacefully from them. Then will we be able to resolve the problem of Kashmir.
Let me now, we understand, and I suppose there are many people who will, of course, want that kind of action. But as of now, viewers, BCCI and IPL sources are telling us that they might be considering the suspension of the IPL. Shivani Gupta with us. Shivani.
Yes, I just spoke to the very top sources in the IPL governing body, and they have confirmed that they are considering the suspension of the IPL as of now. When I asked them what is the reason behind this, is it because of the security concerns? Has the government indicated anything to them? They said that no, this is not because the government has asked us to do anything. But when the country is at war, we cannot be seen playing cricket. This is something that the IPL governing body is thinking of in itself. What I've been told is that they're discussing it currently with the IPL franchises as to what needs to be done. What they're saying is that they're considering suspension of the IPL right now. What happens to the remainder of the season, we don't quite know. We know that, of course, the window available for the IPL is always these two. All right, now we're getting a confirmation that the IPL has been suspended. We're getting this confirmation coming in. As I said, the official source from the IPL governing body has been saying that they are considering this decision. And the reason is, as they said to me, that we cannot be seen playing cricket when the country is at war. As far as the government is concerned, there is no word as far on the security situation, etc. But yes, the IPL governing body feels that this is not something that should go on. And there are, of course, security and logistical concerns. There are multiple venues that are associated with the IPL. Movement of the players and the teams becomes a concern. and on top of that, the local security provision that has to be made for each and every match. Yesterday in Dharamshala, the match was going on even as news of Pakistan aggression was coming. Officially, the BCCI has still maintained that that match at Dharamshala had to be suspended because of floodlights issue. It was believed that that's what the crowd was told at the ground, so that there's no panic. But the actual reason was that they wanted to suspend it and have no activity there at the ground. But the BCCI till today has maintained the official line that that was only due to floodlights issue. But as news is now coming in, the IPL has been suspended for the remainder of the season. When it can pick up, we don't quite know, because the situation within with India and Pakistan at the LOC and at the border now continues to be extremely fluid and extremely dangerous.
Yes, well, of course, the optics are pretty wrong in a situation like this, but clearly there is an overhang, security overhang, Shivani, and I'm sure that the BCCI's decision has probably been communicated to the government. Would you not agree?
Yes, absolutely. They will, of course, keep the government in loop. Just till 2 minutes back when they were talking about this, they said that, see, it's not as if the government has asked us to do anything. I think they said the government is doing their job. What is our job is to see whether we should be playing cricket at this time. The word used was that when the country is at war, we cannot be seen playing cricket. So I think this is also more to show solidarity with the fact that we cannot be doing this. This is a mega tournament. Under very few circumstances does the IPL ever come under question. You would remember that when elections were happening in 2009 and security was denied to the IPL, it moved to South Africa. But other than that, the IPL continues to be the biggest draw in world cricket. And come rain or shine, nothing really affects it. There have been questions on so many things about the IPL in the past, but it doesn't really work out because IPL is the BCCI's showpiece tournament in India, and a lot of the global cricketers come and play here. But I think in this situation, it is about their security as well. We've got foreign cricketers on Indian land. We've got Indian cricketers and their well-being to take care of. And I think one can understand why they're not saying this openly, that there are security and logistical concerns. Yesterday, after the match in Dharamshala was cut short, there had to be a special train that had to be organized for the players to come, because airports were under, airport activity was under suspension by the government. So here, I think it kind of eases one element of security apparatus, local police, and others who are employed in giving security to IPL matches need not do so anymore. And yes, the bigger question now for the board and the IPL governing body to understand would be what happens next as far as the remainder of the season is concerned. The window is only till May end. After that, international window opens. So we don't quite know. This is unprecedented ground, really, as far as the IPL is concerned.
Yes, it is unprecedented ground. Of course, there have been instances in the past when the IPL has moved overseas, and that has been also because of certain other exigencies. But this time, quite clearly linked to a conflict. Shivani, the Pakistani establishment has also decided to continue their version of the IPL in the Middle East, isn't it? That's also something that was reported yesterday.
Well, they're going to have their concerns as well. Yesterday, we saw visuals when when on the intervening night of 7th and 8th, Pakistan had tried something on Indian military installations, which was a much lesser, attempt than what happened last night. There was a retaliation from the Indian government that was put on record by the Indian government last afternoon, and there were visuals that came in from Pakistan, including cities like Lahore, where even the stadium facade and outside boundary faced some impact of the retaliation that came from the Indian side. So yes, of course, there are concerns. And remember, there are some foreign cricketers that play in the PSL as well. So given the situation on ground, each country is going to be responsible for the security and safety of foreign nationals on their land. They have to be given the opportunity to leave if that is what they desire. You would remember last afternoon, Rahul, the US consulate in Islamabad, plus the US just generally gave an advisory to its citizens not to travel to Pakistan or be close to the international border with India and Pakistan. And the US consulate in Islamabad also told its own members to take shelter in place. So that was in retaliation. That was after India's retaliation post the first escalation from Pakistan 2 nights ago. Now, of course, we're still awaiting what happened as far as Pakistani cities are concerned last night after they tried this massive drone attack and missile attack on Indian border cities. But of course, there are more security concerns and certainly damage that has been seen on ground in Lahore, Rawalpindi, etc. last afternoon than anything was visible in India. So certainly concerns on the Pakistani side are much, much larger.
Much, much larger. Very, very interesting developments, viewers. Fast-paced developments this morning. The IPL suspended. When can we expect, Shivani, a official announcement? We're being told that that hasn't been released as yet by the BCCI.
Waiting for the official announcement to come. Like I said, just before I came live with you, I spoke to the top decision-making body in the IPL, and they said wait for a few minutes and we are going to make it official, and then we'll speak to you officially and let you know what happens next. But yes, I think from the conversation I had, it was clear that their mind is made up when they said that, see, when the country is at war, we cannot be seen playing cricket. It's just an extra headache for the country these are high-value individuals, Indian cricketers, all foreign cricketers, nationals who are in the country. They have to move around quite a bit. They have to practice at their grounds. It's not just about match security. There's a whole 2-day, 3-day schedule for every match. They need access to the ground. They travel from the hotels to the grounds. They practice in the open.
Yes.
There's security staff. There are fans who come and watch those practice sessions, etc. Are you going to allow fans inside the stadium? So instead of going through that route and, figuring out all of those security and logistical concerns, the IPL has decided that it's best to suspend it for now. Like I said, this is unprecedented decision. Never in the history of the IPL has the IPL been suspended like this.
Absolutely. Of course, there are also concerns, as you rightly pointed out, about player safety, and Pakistan would love to attack one of the stadiums and cause carnage there. So this is perhaps also pragmatic. It's a pragmatic decision that has been taken. Viewers, more details coming in now with regards to the aftermath of the Pakistani military action yesterday. Debris found in Sundarbani area of Rajouri district. This is after multiple drones and missiles were launched by Pakistan and shot down by Indian air defense mechanism. Let's try to get more details on this. Tejinder joins us. We probably also have visuals. Tejinder, what can you tell us? Where are these munitions from? What are they exactly? Have you been able to identify them? And are these of any Chinese origin, or what is exactly the nature?
Yes, Rahul. These are the multi-barrel rocket launchers which are fired from the Pakistan side, but they were taken down by the air defense mechanism of the Indian Armed Forces. These debris have been recovered from the Sundarbani area of Rajouri district, wherein Pakistan tried to target some of our vital Indian Army installations in the area by using these rockets. I have got a clearance from the Indian Army where I wanted to check with them what type of rockets are these. So we want to be doubly sure, and now we have the confirmation.
Okay, did we just lose Tejinder there? I think we did. Viewers, we're going to try and reconnect because that was important. He was getting to an important point. Some of these debris items even have serial numbers on them. So clearly they have markings, and those markings tell a story. And if they do tell a story, then we can establish very, very clearly that this was a Pakistan unprovoked strike on a civilian area, which makes it a lot more difficult for Pakistan to explain what it was doing. And therefore, I want to go across to General Iyer. I think he's still there with us. We also have General Sharma. General Iyer, put this into context. This Pakistan decision to target civilians. Okay, we also have General Rajinder Singh. Let me bring you in, General Rajinder Singh. What do you make of this? And of course, General KJ Singh also there with us. So General Rajinder Singh.
Firstly, I totally agree with the points which have been brought out by the wing commander. I think with the spirit that he spoke, the spirit of our country is exactly the same. We are today fully ready to counter any of the threats from Pakistan. We have shown it by the various actions that we have undertaken up till now. Your correspondents have very lucidly brought out as to what all has happened on the border areas, near the military installations, near the airfields, where the Pakistan has struck. And we have also seen the kind of counteractions that have been taken by us. Pakistan, for once and for all, must realize that India is not going to sit idle. it is not going to tolerate any meddling into our area, any infringement of the international norms, and any support to the terrorist organization that Pakistan has been doing up till now. They are asking for additional loan from IMF. The news also are coming that there are sense of disgruntlement against their army chief. The news are also coming that the activities on the Baluchi front have also increased. Now, with all this put together, the kind of support that Pakistan army is getting from their population is not really to the desired degree, and therefore there is tremendous amount of pressure on the army, on their air force, and on their government to de-escalate the situation. The whole international community seems to have got around the fact that India has the right to respond. India also has a right to target the terrorist organizations, which is what we have done. So the situation couldn't have been better. I have seen this during 1971 war when I was a lieutenant. I think our people along the border always rise up to that such kind of situations. We are ready again. And should Pakistan try something, they will get a kind of a response that they wouldn't have imagined in their wildest of dreams.
Absolutely. General KJ Singh, your commentary really on what India now needs to do. We've seen what Pakistan has done. They have completely violated the rationale of proportionality here. India has been very, very restrained. Do you think the time has come when we pay them back in their own coin, sir?
Rahul, Jai Hind.
Jai Hind, sir.
Firstly, I speak to you from Panchkula. We had a blackout yesterday night and today. Let me assure your viewers, the morale is high. Compliance with civic authorities' instructions is very, very high. People have followed all the guidelines. So everybody, all citizens are ready, compliant, and cooperating with the system. And I am also glad that IPL has called off this thing. But let me get to your point. I see in this current exchange with Pakistan a very, very significant change. India, in its targeting, has conveyed to Pakistan that you cannot say that it is subconventional warfare or you call it an act of terrorists. You have to take ownership of these people. See, in Pakistan, organizations like LET also masquerade under the name of Jamaat-ud-Dawa.
Yes.
And similarly, Jaish. So these people also do some kind of charity and all these kind of activities. So in the garb of that, they try to acquire legitimacy. Now, we have taken that thing off. We have said that if you would do this kind of action in India,
yes,
then you jolly well take ownership of these things, you control them. There is no longer will Pakistan have the luxury of blaming the terrorists and vectoring such strikes.
Sir, can I also, I just want you to put your thinking cap on now. The NSA paramilitary DGs are reaching the Home Minister's residence for security meeting. Can you put this into context for our viewers? Arunima is of course there. I'll just get a quick update from her and then I would like you to weigh in on this. Arunima, yes.
So we had reported that the Home Minister was meeting DGBSF and DGCISF. Now the National Security Advisor, DG of other paramilitary forces have also reached his residence. So it looks like this is a comprehensive internal security meeting that is going on in light of the situation along the India-Pakistan border. Yes, BSF is important because BSF is guarding our international border. So the BSF DG, Daljit Singh Chaudhary, is expected to brief the Home Minister on the situation overnight and the situation since daybreak today. DGCISF, because airport security is at risk, There have been a number of notifications from various airports, for example, Chandigarh, Jammu, Srinagar, Leh. They've all by Mangaluru, Bangalore, all these important airports. Security has been heightened there. Multiple layers of security checks have been announced by BCAS also, Bureau of Civil Aviation Security. So in that backdrop, CISF's presence becomes important. CRPF, because of the situation in Kashmir, more forces are being rushed into Jammu and Kashmir. Forces are being withdrawn from Manipur because the assessment is that even after the situation calms down along the LC, Pakistan will try and disturb peace in Jammu and Kashmir. So what steps can be taken? What is the feedback that CRPF has from the ground? All of that is on the table, is on the agenda right now.
Right.
NSA's presence makes this a comprehensive overall briefing about internal security.
Okay, thank you very much, Arunima, for that update. General Singh, just wanted to bring you in on this. What are your thoughts on this meeting, this review? Is it merely a review, or could it also be, of course, a strategy session? I don't know, but what do you make of this?
See, it is a very, very important adjunct to our security strategy.
Right.
Firstly, a large number of airports which were of dual use have been taken over by the armed forces. NSG has been deployed on some of them. So their security in itself is a huge, big concern. And second thing is, the facilities which have been targeted across, I don't call them facilities, the terrorist hubs, which have been targeted of LET and JASH. The first thing they'll like to do is do something for quid pro quo, like they did yesterday in Samba.
Okay.
More such actions may take place. So our BSF has to be put on extra vigilance, and our BSF has got significant anti-drone capability.
Okay.
They have been recently provided this facility, especially on the Punjab frontier, something on Rajasthan frontier also. So all these will be operationalized. They'll be got into the grid.
Okay.
And the third thing, which is very, very important, is
yes,
this is also the time to put civil defense. What we are seeing all over our
Right.
citizens. See, all these border areas, luckily, have hardened bunkers. It's not as if our government is not catered for them.
Okay. So
There are
this is
facilities
a comprehensive review in your analysis. Just stay on with me. I also want to bring in General Dhillon. General Dhillon is here with us also. General Dhillon, your overview really of the response that India either should have or has already undertaken. You probably have access to some news from your own sources. What do you make of the situation? We've seen what Pakistan has done, but how has India really responded? And do you think we've fallen short of what should have been perhaps a toe-to-toe response with Pakistan?
I must amplify here, I must clarify here. India's response cannot be what Pakistan's response is. Pakistan kills innocent civilians, India cannot do that. We are a responsible state, we are a responsible nuclear state, we are a responsible democracy. So India's response is very considered, very mature, very restrained, and जिसको हम कहते हैं कि संयम रखते हुए. When we launched Operation Sindoor in retaliation to when our innocent civilians were killed in Pahalgam in front of their wives and children and parents, we hit only the terror hubs.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I'm saying. I think what I'm trying to say is that when it's about reciprocity, you see, we never attacked their military targets. They tried that last night. So has the time come to give them back, jaw for jaw, tooth for tooth? Or do you think that there still is a point at which we can still probably restrain ourselves? I want to ask you because there are a lot of people who are building a case internationally to allow for diplomatic pressure to be exerted on Pakistan. Would that get jeopardized if we escalate and hit their military hardware?
Whenever nations go to war, the whole of nation, all the arms of the nation, that is military, diplomatic, political, economic, everything is a comprehensive national power. Now here, people are saying if Pakistan had done something yesterday night, why haven't we reciprocated within 6 hours? That is exactly the military strategies. We will hit at the time and place of one choosing, either militarily or otherwise. So let's not jump or let's not vie for some big action. The big action will happen. We must have faith in our leadership, which is very strong. And we must have faith in our military commanders who are very well synergized in the national overall scheme of things. We are not a state like Pakistan that nahi abhi mere ko abhi karna. We will do it. We will do it at place and time of own choosing. And we will, when we respond, or when we reciprocate, or when we retaliate, Pakistan will not know what hit Pakistan. So far, all the missiles of Pakistan, all the drones of Pakistan have been taken care of, and they have not been able to hit the targets. Here, I would just like to use the services or channel to convey a point to the citizens. When the Pakistani missiles or drones were targeted at our cities, our towns, our military installations, our anti-air defense system, or air defense system, or our Suraksha Chakra or S400s, they have intercepted them mid-air. So there will be a lot of debris lying around the villages, towns, or places. At some maybe 10 kilometers from the intended target, some maybe 100 kilometers from the intended target, because our systems pick up the incoming projectiles at various ranges. So my request to all the citizens is, please do not touch the debris. There may be still explosive in it. If you see anything, just go to the nearest army man or a police station and inform about this debris. Please do not touch it. It's not a toy. It's not something to take selfies with. It's a very serious thing. You can lose your life or limb. But coming back to your point, India will respond, and India will respond at the time and place of its own choosing. We will pick the targets, we will pick the weapon systems, we will pick the intensity, and we will pick the levels. So we will do it in a very considered manner.
A very considered manner. Yes, of course, that must always be the leitmotif, should it not? But General Dhillon, there is room still, isn't there, for escalation to perhaps impose deterrence still on Pakistan. It hasn't taken the off-ramp option that we presented to it. So clearly, the Indians have calculated that there is still room for escalation.
See, when we launched Operation Sindoor, we had catered for all contingencies. Since I have been in this type of meetings, in this type of brainstormings, in this type of wargamings during my service, each and every contingency's levels up to which it can go, and then their contingencies also. So we took a time of 14 days, 15 days, because we were coordinating all that which could happen. In all eventualities, all scenarios, we did not want to go in a hurry and then, looking at over our shoulders if something goes beyond what we have planned for. Similarly, even now the particular contingency has opened up, and in this contingency also, as we stand today, there are options which are there for future. In next 1 day, 2 days, 3 days, and in that option, again, new options will open up.
Okay.
So we need to be very clear that the military commanders are putting their heads onto it, and they are considering each every option before venturing into it. And let me assure the nation one thing through a channel: whatever our military commanders are doing, they're doing it in the best interest of the nation, and they know when to do it.
Okay, let me also bring in Captain D.K. Sharma, former spokesperson of the Indian Navy. Captain Sharma, what now should be the next step? We're at an important inflection point. It's been 3 days, and we are reaching the point where this is becoming a wider conflict, as we know. How far do you think this is going to go? What do you think are the next options?
Good afternoon, Rahul, and good afternoon to your viewers. As we are seeing it for the last 3 days, things are well under control insofar as India is concerned. We are very, very measured, we are very, very precise, and we are not going berserk as our adversary is going. They are in a state of panic. They are looking at all the windows, all the opportunities, and are striking left, right, and center. But be it as it may, you have seen our air defenses, our chains, our layered security chains, which are responding to it and have not allowed, apart from that one-odd projectile, which is, coming from the Poonch sector, Tangdhar and all, that is all because of the terrain. And it is, standoff firing, and it is coming and hitting civilian population, very unfortunately, which is being responded to. And adequate, ammunition is being dumped that side also to give an answer that we are here and we are looking after our assets. Now coming down to where will it lead to? As you had brought out, all the three commanders with the CDS, DevSec and Raksha Mantri have met in Delhi and are exchanging notes. As such, they are operating from the war room in South Block. But coming over there and reassuring the political leadership, and as you had already mentioned, that probably the defense minister will now go and brief the prime minister. So it's, at the ground level, all the services are working together. At the commanders level, they are, exchanging notes. And let me tell you through your channel that all the ops rooms, whether it is in Kashmir, whether it is in Punjab, whether it is Chandi Mandir, Bombay, or in Vizag, all are connected. Everybody is online. Network-centric warfare at its best. Everybody is aware of what is happening. So, and we are not going to go, ballistic, because we are very clear, as you have heard our Foreign Secretary saying that this is being targeted to where the problem lies.
Okay.
So, but if they do any misadventure, it will be,
So there is room. What I was trying to get at was, is there room for escalation? And you think there is room for escalation? Okay, look, viewers, much more information coming through. PIB Fact Check has debunked 7 instances of misinformation or disinformation amid escalated tension. Let's go across to Griya Atul, who will show how India is debunking Pakistan's narrative. She is reporting from a war room that has been set up to do precisely just this.
Absolutely, Rahul. It's not just a war that we are fighting at the borders. It does look like that we are fighting one online, that against disinformation, like you rightly mentioned. Now, the Press Information Bureau of the country has managed to identify certain fake accounts, Pakistan-based accounts on social media platform X that are spreading this Pakistani propaganda, spreading this fake news. And let's in fact take you through some of those. You mentioned 7. We've managed to in fact ascertain more than that. We're talking about 10 to 12 so far. The PIB is already put out officially. Let's look at the first one. The PIB fact check goes on to claim this is a Pakistan propaganda alert where Pakistan-based handles are spreading old videos falsely alleging strikes on a military base in Amritsar. It's been fact checked, and then they go on to claim how this particular video, and here, this is the video in question where they have branded it as fake, and they have said that this video is from a wildfire from the year 2024. If we take a look at the next one, this is a question that PIB is now posting. Did this Indian drone really get intercepted in Pakistan? A big question mark there. They go on to say that Pakistan-based handles are sharing an old image claiming that the Pakistan army has intercepted a UAV drone that fell in Gurjanwala in Pakistan. That has been, in fact, fact-checked again. This is the image, as you can see. And here, the image being circulated is from the Ukraine-Russia conflict in 2022. That's another one by the PIB. This is, again, a viral video alert, remember. This is post-Operation Sindoor, where the truth behind the aircraft crash has been established by the PIB, where India is claiming that this is a Pakistani social media account. They are recycling, by the way, old video and sharing it in the present context. This is the video from an earlier incident from 2019 involving an Indian Air Force Mi-17 V5 helicopter that crashed near Budgam in Jammu and Kashmir. Now, this is how PIB has debunked that entire narrative that has been posed by Pakistan. Another one that's coming to fore here. This is a video from Indonesia which has been shared in completely wrong context. So there are numerous examples like this, Rahul, which India has posted. Okay. India has identified these accounts. And of course, there is also that executive order that has come in from the country to, in fact, ban over 8,000 accounts. And that request has been sent out to the social media platform X.
Well, viewers, these are modern days, and in modern times, there's also a disinformation campaign that has to be fought because of the technology that is available. Disinformation spreads so much quicker, as we all know. In the past, we've had false flag operations, we've had feints, etc., etc., but because there was nothing like social media to amplify this part of the war, was always sort of not given too much importance, but now it has a huge impact on situations. But more breaking news coming in, getting in visuals of Jammu and Kashmir LG Manoj Sinha visiting the spot where shops were damaged. Remember, a lot of civilian areas were targeted by coward Pakistani army slash terrorist units. Shelling last night took place all along the LOC, and Umar Abdullah, also Jammu and Kashmir Chief Minister, reached Government Hospital in Jammu. All of these areas just to make sure that the civilians there, whatever they need, all their requirements are addressed. So that's what we're seeing. That's I think Manoj Sinha there under a umbrella. Because it's raining, and he's taking an assessment. Ishan Vani there with us. Ishan, what can you tell us about these pictures that we're seeing on our screens?
Yes, Rahul, Lieutenant Governor, Chief Minister and the Cabinet Ministers are out meeting people affected by the ceasefire violation, particularly those who have been now shifted to safer shelters and those who are in the hospital getting medical treatment, and they are assuring people that the government stands with them. And everyone is trying to ensure your safety. Lieutenant Governor visited those shops which were damaged by the ceasefire violations, includes people who were earning a living out of running shops near the Woody market, where shells landed yesterday at multiple shops. The place where the shells also landed has a diverse population. There are Rajput Hindus who live there. There are Muslims who also live there. That's where one of the shells landed. It destroyed at least 3 to 4 shops there, and people have been now demanding that they want Lieutenant Governor to take immediate action in terms of trying to relocate them, to take them to safer shelters and provide them more bunkers in the border area. Many of the generation which is in their 20s and late 20s are telling us that they haven't seen this kind of ferocious shelling from Pakistan in a very long time, at least in their age, they recall. And that is why they're scared, they're afraid, and many of them have left. The Chief Minister is in Jammu, while the LG is taking care of the situation in Kashmir. The Cabinet Ministers are out there, visited the GMC in Baramulla and the locations as well, trying to reassure people that the government stands with them in difficult times, and while the army is trying to give a befitting response to the ceasefire provocation by the Pakistan army.
Absolutely. Well, thank you very much, Ishan, and continue to be safe there. Tough and very, very trying times along the LOC, where Pakistan has decided that in their asymmetric warfare, they're going to target civilians, and this is quite disgusting. But we're also, viewers, being told that, okay, do we have a bite of whom? Let me just quickly clarify that with our director. Director Saab, whose bite are we going to?
पता नहीं कौन सा कायद वो इंडिया के इन मामलात के ऊपर एक स्टेटमेंट नहीं आई। जनाब डिप्टी स्पीकर साहब, मुझे टीपू सुल्तान के वो एक कॉल याद आ रहा है कि अगर एक लश्कर जिसका सरदार शेर हो और उसके साथ लश्कर में गीदड़ हो तो वो शेरों की तरह लड़ते हैं। अगर शेरों का लश्कर उसका सरदार गीदड़ हो तो वो नहीं लड़ सकते, वो जंगे हार लेते हैं। इस वक्त बॉर्डर पे खड़ा वो फौजी जो हमसे तवक्को रखता है कि हमारा लीडर, जो कौमी लीडर होता है या जो वजीर आजम होता है, वो आईना होता है, वो फेस होता है, उसकी तवक्को है कि हमारी सियासी क़यादत वो दलेरी के साथ मुकाबला करेगी। जी, वाइंड अप करें, जुमे का टाइम है। आखिरी 2 मिनट दे जी। लेकिन जब आपका वजीर आजम, जब आपका लीडर बुज़दिल हो, वो मोदी का नाम ना ले सके, उसको आप क्या पैगाम दे रहे बॉर्डर पे लड़ने वाले जवान को? इनका पता नहीं कौन सा कायद वो इंडिया के इन मामलात के ऊपर एक स्टेटमेंट नहीं आई। जनाब डिप्टी स्पीकर साहब, मुझे टीपू सुल्तान के वो एक कॉल याद आ रहा है कि अगर एक लश्कर जिसका सरदार शेर हो और उसके साथ लश्कर में गीदड़ हो तो
Well, viewers, we should just play that once more because that is the epic meltdown in the Pakistani National Assembly, and that's a member of parliament just before the Jummah prayers, completely losing it, thinking that bluster alone will win them this war. No, it's not going to win you this war, Mr. MP. It's not going to win you this war. You're losing your equanimity. You're completely losing rationality. the person that you should be actually accusing of subterfuge is the Pak Army Chief, but these members of parliament in Pakistan, viewers, as you know, are just rubber stamps. So they will never talk to the people who really matter, which is the military chief of their country that has led them into what really is a death spiral. Let's listen to this once again.
का सरदार शेर हो और उसके साथ लश्कर में गीदड़ हो तो वो शेरों की तरह लड़ते हैं। अगर शेरों का लश्कर उसका सरदार गीदड़ हो तो वो नहीं लड़ सकते, वो जंगे हार लेते हैं। इस वक्त बॉर्डर पे खड़ा वो फौजी जो हमसे तवक्को रखता है कि हमारा लीडर जो कौमी लीडर होता है या जो वजीर आज़म होता है वो आईना होता है, वो फेस होता है, उसकी तवक्को है कि हमारी सियासी क़यादत वो दलेरी के साथ मुकाबला करेगी।
जी वाइंड अप करें जुमे का टाइम है।
आखिरी 2 मिनट दे जी। लेकिन जब आपका वजीर आज़म, जब आपका लीडर बुज़दिल हो, वो मोदी का नाम ना ले सके, उसको आप क्या पैगाम दे रहे बॉर्डर पे लड़ने वाले उस जवान को? इनका पता नहीं कौन सा कायद, वो इंडिया के इन मामलात के ऊपर एक स्टेटमेंट नहीं आई। जनाब डिप्टी स्पीकर साहब, मुझे टीपू सुल्तान के वो एक कॉल याद आ रहा है कि अगर एक लश्कर जिसका सरदार शेर हो और उसके साथ लश्कर में गीदड़ हो तो वो
frothing at their mouths, viewers, and they're losing their faith in their own leadership. This is a Tehreek-e-Insaf party MP, so Imran Khan's party MP, they're completely besides himself. Pakistani establishment has a lot really to answer for. We leave it at this.
सस्ते वाले
Viewers, what India will say at the IMF meet is critical because this is a make or break moment for Indian diplomacy. We have to convince the international community, specifically the IMF, not to make a loan to Pakistan. Pakistan doesn't deserve it. It's a terror state. It enables terror. It will use that money for terror. Pakistan has had 24 bailouts, but none of them show any development on ground for the people. They got about $1.3 billion for climate change work, but none was used, as you all know. The funds are always diverted, and I'm not saying this. It has been very well established by a large number of independent auditors, globally well-known, reputable companies and auditors that have gone out there and looked at the expenditure, the diversion of funds. Pallavi is with us. Pallavi, this is a crucial meeting, isn't it?
That's right. So, we know that later tonight, India time, is when the IMF meeting will begin. And basically, the IMF meeting also decides on how much of funds which have to be given to any country. Now, these funds are technically meant for development work. Rahul, we've already seen that posturing which is coming in from Pakistan. The Economic Affairs Wing of Pakistan government has already put out a post saying that we have been so badgered by the Indian attack on us and Operation Sindoor that we are completely depleted with our funds. And that is the plea which Pakistan is going to be taking at the international platform, not just tonight, but also later, that, because of Indian action, we have no money. And as a result of which, it's the common man of Pakistan who's going to suffer. Well, all that point by point rebuttal has been prepared by India. A verbal communication has already gone in. But tonight when the meeting begins, India time, our executive director over there is going to raise a couple of points. 1.3 billion was a recent bailout given to Pakistan. Where has that money been used? Actually, Rahul, that money was meant for climate change development work. Do you see anything on the ground? That's what India is going to be asking. Why is it in the last 6 months we've seen a spike as far as Pak terror or defense budgeting is concerned? Where is that money coming in from if Pakistan is insisting that they don't have money? So clearly the funds are being diverted. Also, it's already got 24 bailouts on different yardsticks, for development work. Where are the roads? Where are the infrastructural facilities which have been provided for the common man? So the points have been prepared. The argument is going to be very, very aggressive. And that's the point which is going to be given, that it's not just India. Tomorrow, everyone is going to suffer if you're going to keep on giving money to Pakistan, because they run a school of terror which funds terror acts across various spectrums, whether it's the Jaish, whether it's Lashkar-e-Taiba, or whether it is the Hamas, because it is all of them are trained in Pakistan's school of terror.
True. So Pallavi, thank you very much for that update. All eyes will be on that meeting. The IMF is, of course, also populated by an Indian representative, so that helps build leverage. But let's just open this up, because non-kinetic options are, of course, mid to long term. They will only bear fruit in the mid to long term. We have had the IMF as well as other international global organizations pulling back from funding Pakistan. It doesn't really make a material difference in the long run. What does our kinetic options that India has undertaken and some other punitive sanctions that India has imposed, which are of course non-kinetic but of more immediate value. But let's just open this up and analyze right now the kinetic options. And the last 24 hours, Nishikanta Singh, General Nishikanta Singh is here with us, the defense expert. Let me bring you into it. General Saab, look, fundamentally, we can talk about all the 9 non-kinetic options. We can talk about diplomacy. We can talk about India exerting pressure through the United Nations, through other foreign governments. But eventually, we have to do things that make sense in the immediate so that we can get respite from Pak-based terror. And Pakistan yesterday, you've seen their response. They've been strafing different parts of the Indian positions. They've tried to attack us at our bases, and of course they've been targeting civilians. Now, what do you think has been the Indian response to this? What should it be? Where should it stop? Or should we now call it all off?
Thank you, Rahul, for having me here. I'll put it this way. Thank you, Rahul, for having me here. I'll put it this way. India has been, in fact, very benign with the Pakistanis. We did not target their military. We targeted terrorist infrastructures which has been existing for years. These infrastructures were there when I was
Good afternoon, everyone. Thanks a lot for staying with us. You're watching the continuous coverage here on CNN News 18. I'm Shivani Gupta. We're tracking the latest that is coming from all official sources as far as the escalation from Pakistan is concerned against India across the western border from Jammu and Kashmir to Gujarat. And we'll get you all the latest in the next 1 hour. First up, let's take a quick check of the top 10 stories we're tracking. Defence Minister Rajnath Singh meets Tri-Services Chiefs and the CDS and Defence Secretary. Tri-Services Chiefs briefed the Raksha Mantri on Operation Sindoor. Crucial meeting underway at Home Minister Amit Shah's residence on security. Paramilitary DGs have reached his residence for this top meet. BCCI to decide to suspend the Indian Premier League 2025 amid escalating tensions between India and Pakistan. IPL sources say they cannot be seen playing cricket when the country is at war. In Samba sector of Jammu, frontier BSF in the intervening night of 8th and 9th, an infiltration attempt by a big group of terrorists has been detected. This infiltration bid was supported by fire from Pak Rangers post in Jalandhar. Pakistan continues to warmonger. Missile debris found in Sundarbani area of Rajouri. Missile was intercepted and shot down by Indian air defense mechanism. Jammu and Kashmir Chief Minister Omar Abdullah visited Government Medical College in Jammu to check on those injured in the recent shelling across the LOC. Omar Abdullah will also review the security situation. Jammu and Kashmir LG Manoj Sinha reaches Uri. The Lieutenant Governor has reached Lagama in Uri and visited shops damaged by Pakistan's shelling. Army handed Pakistan a befitting reply. Army has released a statement on Pakistan Army's attacks using drones and other munitions along the entire western border last night. The Army says the attacks were effectively repulsed and befitting reply was given. External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar dialed India's allies and friends across the world as Pakistan resorted to unprovoked attacks in retaliation for Operation Sindoor. Pakistani MP Shahid Ahmed Khattak calls their Prime Minister Buzdil or coward, says he can't even take the name of Modi. So India's air defense system prevailed, and prevailed how? Against Pakistan's drones and even missile attack across the evening, across the entire western border last night. The government has neutralized all of the incoming missiles through the air defense system, and they have also neutralized the air defense system at Lahore after Pakistan attempted to engage a number of military targets last afternoon. When Pakistan made failed attempts to send swarm drones all across various places along the LOC and international border, over 45 to 50 drones were successfully neutralized during the counter-drone operation. The engagement involved the use of L-70 guns, Zu-23mm, Chilka systems and other advanced counter-US equipment, demonstrating the Army's robust capability to counter such aerial threats. Let's begin by breaking down exactly the systems that India has used as far as this retaliation from Pakistan is concerned. So, of course, this is the L-70, which is the anti-aircraft gun. This was developed by Bofors and produced under license in India now. It's a 40mm gun modernized with radar, electro-optical sensors and auto-tracking systems. It can fire 240 to 330 rounds per minute with a range of up to 4,000 meters. The L-70 excels in anti-drone warfare, saturating the sky with predictive fire, making it effective against swarm attacks and evading drones. Most of the attacks that happened from Pakistan last evening were in fact drones, and the L-70 was that one system that was employed very successfully by the Indian Armed Forces. Let's take a look at the Chilka. Is a self-propelled system with 4 23mm autocannons guided by radar detecting targets up to 20 kilometers away. It can unleash 4,000 rounds per minute and has been upgraded with proximity fuse ammunition and advanced fire control systems to tackle small drones. The Chilka's rapid fire and radar precision makes it lethal for UAVs, helicopters and light armored vehicles as well. Its dense curtain of rounds offers last resort protection for air bases, convoys and sensitive installations under elevated threat levels. Now, hours after escalation by Pakistan, the government has chaired a couple of very key meetings. Let's break down those meetings for you. Meeting number one, as I mentioned earlier, Raksha Mantri Rajnath Singh today chairing a high-level meeting to review the security situation along the entire western border, and of course, there has been shelling across the LOC as well. Overall preparedness of the Indian Armed Forces was discussed. The CDS, General Anil Chauhan, Chief of the Army Staff, General Upendra Dwivedi, Chief of the Naval Staff, Admiral Dinesh K. Tripathi, and Chief of the Air Staff, Air Marshal AP Singh, all were in attendance, along with Defence Secretary Shri Rajesh Kumar Singh. Meeting number two, Amit Shah, the Home Minister, is meeting DG BSF, DG CISF and MHA officials, senior officials of the Ministry of Home Affairs to review the border situation, also give more instructions as to what needs to be done as far as Indian territory is concerned. Airport security arrangements are also under review because remember, Pakistan has not hid its intentions of not just targeting key military installations in India, but they're also trying to target key civilian installations in India. More breaking updates coming in. Prime Minister Narendra Modi had a telephonic conversation with Gujarat Chief Minister Bhupendra Patel to obtain details of Gujarat's preparedness as a border state and the advanced planning undertaken by the state government in the current situation of tension on the border. And the Chief Minister has provided necessary information. The Prime Minister has also given necessary guidance in this regard. My colleague Payal Mehta is also joining us with more on this. Payal, the Prime Minister has spoken to Gujarat Chief Minister. You can tell us more about that, and is he also likely to speak to all other western border states' Chief Ministers as well?
Yes, you've seen multiple rounds of preparedness and meetings taking place with the Union Home Minister chairing a meeting just the other day with the border states, with the police officers and the security officials over there to check the preparedness. But there have been very, very interesting developments that have taken place at these borders, especially Jammu and Kashmir, Rajasthan, amongst the others, effective last night and the night before that as well. Keeping that in mind, one of the first two conversations that the Prime Minister essentially had, Shivani has been with the Gujarat Chief Minister, and Gujarat incidentally is also the Prime Minister's home state. There are many important military establishments that have been under the attack as far as Pakistan is concerned, and the fact that Jamnagar also houses one of the biggest refineries in the country. So taking us through some of the preparedness that has already been put into place by the state government in coordination with the Ministry of Home Affairs, the Prime Minister said to has given guidance to the Chief Minister of Gujarat how to take this forward. Not to forget that the Prime Minister has been the longest serving Chief Minister of Gujarat himself as well. So all hands on the deck approach that is being adopted by both the centre and the states, especially in border states, making sure that the nefarious design of Pakistan does not meet with any success, and our soldiers and our braves fighting it out at the borders, keeping all of us protected. So obviously, no room left for any sort of room unattended, if I may say so. That's the approach of the Indian government and the Indian establishment.
Payal, thanks a lot for joining us. Let's take a look at some more breaking updates coming in. X, the social media platform, has blocked accounts of leading Pakistani journalists Hamid Mir and Najam Sethi. These must have been blocked on the request of the Indian government. We have seen that the Indian government has sought the blocking of as many as 8,000 accounts on X for various reasons during this entire conflict and escalation between India and Pakistan. My colleague Aman is also joining us with more on this. Aman, more handles from Pakistan getting blocked.
Yes, Shivani, and this is big because Hamid Mir, Najam Sethi, some of the most well-known journalists of Pakistan, but also being accused of spreading fake news and propaganda from Pakistan, and that is why the government has taken this step. In fact, Hamid Mir's tweets were being pointed out by many on the social media also in the last few days as fake news. So Hamid Mir and Najam Sethi, both their X accounts have now been blocked by India after a series of action has been taken against certain media accounts of media organizations also from Pakistan, and this is a part of this India's crackdown. And the Twitter had yesterday in fact put it out that they had received executive orders from the Indian government requiring X to block as many as 8,000 accounts in India, and these are potentially because India is asking them to be blocked because in the current tensions between India and Pakistan, a lot of fake news is being propagated by these handles, and that is why India has taken this big step. So after many media organizations, now two leading journalists of Pakistan, Hamid Mir and Najam Sethi, both their X accounts have been blocked.
All right, Aman, thanks a lot for bringing us that update. Arunima, my colleague, is keeping a track of the government meetings that are taking place. Aruna, I believe you are at the South Block and multiple meetings taking place. What's the latest you're picking up on the Home Minister's meeting?
He's still meeting this paramilitary DGs, DG CISF for airport security, DG BSF to understand what's going on the international border from Jammu all the way up to Rajasthan. Punjab and Gujarat also saw incursions yesterday. So that meeting is going on. DG of CRPF as well as the IB chief are also attending that meeting. We do know that the situation in Kashmir, even without the tension at the border, is evolving after the Pahalgam terror attack. And there is a huge chance that the overall CRPF deployment in the valley could be augmented. So in the backdrop of what is currently happening, Home Minister is meeting the paramilitary chiefs to try and understand what is being done for civilians across the international border. He has already spoken to the DGPs of border states yesterday, and this meeting with the paramilitary DGs is also keeping in mind the situation as it evolved last night. Since daybreak, thankfully all has been quiet. There's been no incident reported along the LOC or along the international border. But as we are approaching the evening, I think our guards are up once again, because over the last 48 hours, with the sun setting, Pakistan has opened fire, artillery on the line of control, and also indulged in misadventure via drones like we saw last night.
Okay. Arunima, I'll keep coming back to you. We are getting some more updates now as far as India's preparedness is concerned. The central government has now empowered the Chief of the Army Staff to use the powers under them to call out every officer and every enrolled person of the Territorial Army to provide for essential guard or to be embodied for the purpose of supporting or supplementing the regular army. My colleague Akash Sharma is bringing us this update. This is also a very big step that the armed forces or the military is about to take?
So it's a reserve force. We have, people, who are interested in serving the army and cannot do that because of their other jobs, generally getting enrolled for it. But this is the time when country, needs them, and this is the reason why we are getting this notification where it has been categorically mentioned that Army Chief is now, empowered to take any sort of decision of the sort of deployment that, the condition requires or the operational command requires, and for that, the officers or the personnel who are, employed or, are registered with the territorial army can be called. In fact, we have been told that total 14 infantry battalions are there, when we talk about territorial army. So we have got several departments. They work for environment, they work for railways, they work for Indian Army, they work for, ration supply and everything else. But we have 14 infantry battalions as well, who can in fact assist the regular army. And this is one such time where we have seen that how the adversary in this particular case is, attacking India and in fact trying to attack India on a daily basis. And that's the reason why this notification has been put out by the central government. And in fact, powers have been given to the Indian Army Chief, Shivani.
Okay, Akash, thanks a lot for bringing us that very important update. Let's also go across to our experts. Joining us, Vice Admiral Shekhar Sinha, former Chief of Integrated Defence Staff and Commander-in-Chief, Western Naval Command is joining us. Tilak Devashir is author and former member of the National Security Advisory Board. I thank you, gentlemen, for your time. Vice Admiral, I'm coming to you first up. While the situation across the IB may be a little bit quiet right now after what transpired late last evening and night, it seems that India is very much preparing for every contingency. You must have just heard the news that we broke. Even every person who's associated with the territorial army could be brought on for duty. How do you see these measures being taken by the army and the government as well?
Well, Shivani, thank you very much for getting me on your program. This is very essential because the manner in which the army has to attend from smallest of issue to a bigger issue, and therefore it has been realized that some of these issues can be handled by the territorial army, for which they are well trained. So that army, the main army, fighting army, can concentrate on the closer to border, and maybe there is some offensive in making, quite possible. And therefore these are all required. But I must tell you that, these things will continue to happen till such time, we really remove the root cause of this entire firing, entire terrorism which is going on our side of the border. And terrorism is not because of Lashkar-e-Taiba or Hizbul Mujahideen. It is the biggest terrorist group in the world is the Pakistan Army and ISI.
Yes.
And therefore, it requires fair amount of hitting and hitting them hard, which the government is doing progressively. You fire one, I will fire two. I will hit you harder than what you have done on every time that you fire. So it's
but
not
at the same time, Vice Admiral, India is still allowing an off-ramp of sorts to Pakistani army. That, okay, if you attempt something, we're going to hit back proportionately. You may not be able to damage us. We will obviously manage damage, but we are not escalating it any further. But it's Pakistan's ISI and army that is just not taking that off-ramp.
Yeah, you see, idea is that we must have a handle on the escalation ladder. You should never allow the escalation ladder to be controlled by your opposition party. So this is how you can keep under your control. Okay, let him fire. I will decide how much to escalate. And this is exactly what the government of India and the armed forces are doing. They are all ready. The political decision has to be taken as to what is the end result that we expect from the armed forces. And moment that end result is to end everything in Pakistan, it will happen. All forces will come together and they will have concentration of firepower, and they will take out all the targets which they have already got in their mind. Not only in mind, they've got it all fitted along with all the weapon systems which are available to them. Shivani.
Okay. So, gentlemen, just hold on with me. I'm just going to take our viewers through some more updates that are coming in. Veterans have written to the President and the Army Chief to offer their services to the nation. So this is in continuation with the powers that the Army in any case has. We've been talking about that they can bring in all reserved forces, even others who have served the Army or are in other active jobs while being part of the Army. But The territorial army, which is the second line of defense, has already been asked to use their powers to call in everybody that has an association with them. Now we're getting to know that veterans of the country, war veterans and others who have served the armed forces, the military, have written to the president and the army chief that they are available for service. This is also a big update coming in, and it just gives you an idea of the sentiment that is prevailing in the country right now. My colleague Akash Sharma is bringing us more on this. Akash.
So, you see, Shivani, we know that these are the hard times, even when the body language of the service chiefs or the Raksha Mantri is clearly indicating that whatever, danger was coming towards us, it was spotted. But then also we know that, armed forces are on high alert. The operational preparedness is at all-time high. And this is the reason why we are seeing notifications like such, in fact, where territorial army, in fact, the individuals who are registered with the territorial army can be called for their service. And in fact, army chiefs have been given powers for that. And in fact, a number of decisions can be taken like such. Shivani, as far as, I know last time maybe during Kargil, it may have happened. But till now, as far as territorial army is concerned, so we know that how crucial reserve it is, given the fact that they work for railways, they work for environment. We have their ECT, that is Ecologic Task Force, if I'm not wrong. And then we have their infantry battalion as well. We have, in fact, the territorial army is a very part of Ministry of Defense and is one of the crucial forces. We know that how they have, given their services during disasters, during floods and everything else related to that. But then this is the time when we have war-like situation. Our adversary, Pakistan, has tried attacking us thrice now. One, first with the Pahalgam. Then secondly, yesterday in the morning where air defenses were targeted and in fact radars were targeted, and then in the evening starting from Jammu to different areas in the western sector, near the western borders where military establishment and in fact the civilian population was targeted. We have in fact several visuals that are suggesting that how missiles and in fact the drones were destroyed, and in fact we have got several evidences that how they were using Chinese missiles, and these missiles came from very much from Pakistan. So all of these evidences will of course be kept as sort of proof to show the international community as well that on one hand India has maintained that we don't want any sort of escalation. And that's the reason why initially after destroying your terror camps, we categorically mentioned that we haven't targeted your civilian population, we haven't targeted your military infrastructure, and we don't want any escalation. But then you started it, and now India is retaliating. Last night also we have seen that how India has retaliated. In fact, we are expecting a detailed briefing from the Ministry of Defense and Ministry of External Affairs on it. But we know this for a fact that how from Leh to Bhuj of Gujarat, several military infrastructures were targeted using drones, using missiles, using artillery, and in fact rocket as well. Where none of these attempts were successful, and our air defense systems, including S400, Akash, and several AD guns, were there to thwart these attempts.
All right, Akash, appreciate you joining us and bringing us more updates. As I was mentioning earlier, LG, Jammu and Kashmir, Manoj Sinha, has been visiting some of those LOC areas where shelling has been the worst. We are getting, I believe, some information on him visiting Uri. This has been very badly hurt. Those are some of the visuals that are also coming in, and my colleague Ishan Vani is bringing us more. Ishan, give us a sense of his visit and the damage on ground.
Well, images are self-explanatory. I'll ask Bashir to come with me and show you that what exactly has transpired. These used to be shops here, and this is exactly the location where a shell landed yesterday after 9 o'clock when Pakistan resorted to intense ceasefire violation. Nothing is left here. Look at the refrigerator over there. It is just looking like, it's not even recognizable that what it is. You will notice here fumes, smoke coming out of this entire structure. This used to be a massive big structure of several shops which has been completely gutted, damaged, destroyed, and even the infrastructure that is here, because LG was here a while back. You'll also notice, if Bashir can follow me, I'll give you just an idea that how difficult is it to live on the line of control at the moment, particularly for the civilians. You will notice on the other side of this particular road, there are these massive markings. These are basically splinters which have hit and gone inside, cutting the shutter down and gone inside the shop. And if anyone would have been here at that given point of time, imagine what would have been his condition. And this is so these are the scenes that we have seen at many places in Uri, where massive shelling since yesterday has resulted in damage to infrastructure. A woman was so unlucky that there was one shrapnel which came on their vehicle while they were trying to escape in Mohra, and it hit her neck and she died. And the rest of the family members are safe, but one lady has died, multiple are injured. Even if you look at this road, there are more structures, if Bashir can zoom in and show you, which have been hit by the intense shelling of the Pakistan army. This is one such structure there. It was a shop owned by possibly a local Rajput Hindu who used to sell some items there, and that shop is also completely destroyed. And this tells you the intensity at which Pakistan shelling was happening yesterday, and the sort of bombardment that has been done, particularly in the civilian areas. This is one such area which has been impacted, but there are other areas in Uri where continuous ceasefire violation that was witnessed yesterday. We have been given to understand by the people in their late 30s that even they haven't seen such kind of intense shelling take place from Pakistan in the last at least 3 to 4 decades. So this is a mark of a new chapter for these people, where they have been displaced, where they have been uprooted from their houses, they have been shifted, but the administration now, from Lieutenant Governor to Chief Minister to the Cabinet Ministers, are coming, assuring them the government is trying to do every possible bit to ensure their safety and security.
Yes, and after that, of course, some help to these residents in rebuilding their lives as well. Ishan, thanks a lot for joining us. Let me quickly bring in our guests once again. Tilak Devashar, how do you look at this situation? Because, the government is still giving the signal that they are waiting for Pakistan to come to senses. Whatever retaliation they do, we're going to effectively thwart it. They're not going to manage to do much damage. We're going to hit back, possibly with greater intensity, to teach them a lesson, but not escalate any further. Are we at war, sir? Or is this still the brink of war?
Thank you, Shivani. About being at war, I'll tell you a very interesting story. In 1965, when the Indian mission was in Karachi, so the question arose whether the records should be burnt. When you have a hostile situation, all the cipher documents are burnt. But they can be burnt only if there is war. So they weren't sure if India was actually on war with Pakistan. So then a decision was taken to send somebody to the Pak Foreign Office and ask them if India and Pakistan were at war. Now, that Pakistan official himself did not know whether they were at war. So he said, I'll have to refer it to higher authorities and get back to you. And they never got back during the duration of the war. So it's, in modern day, it is very, very difficult to say if you are at war or you're not at war. I think one of the key indicators is that you're crossing the international boundary with land forces. You see, if you're using standoff platforms or using drones, that doesn't really constitute entering another country's territory. It does, but not to the extent if you actually move in tanks and land forces or naval ships. So I think it's a grey area at the moment.
Yes.
We can't be sure one way or the other. But I think the important thing is that India's response has been very measured. And let's not forget, and we must keep emphasizing, that this whole crisis started because 26 innocent Indians were killed on communal lines in Pahalgam.
Yes.
That should not be brushed under the carpet.
Absolutely.
That was the initial cause, and India reacted in a measured manner to attack the terror training camps. So 9 targets were taken out, including the 2 snake pits of Muridke and Bhavalagar.
Yes.
Hawalpur, yeah. So Pakistan reacted thereafter violently. They tried to hit 15 of our cities. And we had not targeted either the civilian population or military targets. Pakistan tried to do both. But our air defense was so good that they were totally foiled. And then as a reaction, India went in with drones at Lahore and Sialkot and other places. So last night, again, Pakistan came back at you with a drone strike. All of them again got foiled. So, it's now, right now, hanging in limbo. That does Pakistan escalate? And if it does, what will be India's reaction? I think one thing India is very clear about, and as the Admiral Sinha also mentioned, that you keep control of the escalatory ladder.
Yes.
You don't want to go up too sharply up the escalatory ladder, but you will certainly do what you need to do to defend yourself and also to take the battle into Pakistan should they not get the message, should they not behave.
Yes.
So I think Pakistan has off-ramps if they want to choose it, if they want to choose to get off. But Pakistan's problem is that Asim Munir needs to show to his people back home, because of his declining popularity and the declining popularity of the Pakistan army, they need to show something which they can claim victory. So, you have absurd stories. 5 planes have been shot down. This has happened, that has happened. And these are all fake narratives. One war that Pakistan could possibly win is the battle of fake narratives. They're very good at lying and they're very good in manufacturing stuff. So Asim Munir needs some sort of a victory. And that is, I think, is the dangerous thing, that he will go in for bravado just to show that he has achieved something.
We're definitely dealing with a mad nation. I don't know if I can even use the term nation, but a set of mad people. But I think on the Indian side, what we're also displaying is quiet confidence that, okay, we know you're going to try something, maybe a few times. We are very well prepared to thwart those efforts, retaliate in kind. But we are also quietly waiting for you to come to your senses. Gentlemen, just stay with me. I want to take this further with you, but I have to slip into a very short break. More news and updates in just a couple of minutes. Our reporters are also continuously getting us breaking updates on the entire situation.
Mahi sir.
With us, Shivani.
Yes, I just spoke to the very top sources in the IPL governing body and they have confirmed that they are considering the suspension of the IPL as of now. When I asked them what is the reason behind this, is it because of the security concerns, has the government indicated anything to them? They said that no, this is not because the government has asked us to do anything, but when the country is at war, we cannot be seen playing cricket. This is something that the IPL governing body is thinking of in itself. What I've been told is that they're discussing it currently with the IPL franchises as to what needs to be done. What they're saying is that they're considering suspension of the IPL right now. What happens to the remainder of the season, we don't quite know. We know that, of course, the window available for the IPL is always these two. All right, now we're getting a confirmation that the IPL has been suspended. We're getting this confirmation coming in. As I said, the official source from the IPL governing body has been saying that they are considering this decision. And the reason is, as they said to me, that we cannot be seen playing cricket when the country is at war. As far as the government is concerned, there is no word as far on the security situation, etc. But yes, the IPL governing body feels that this is not something that should go on. And there are, of course, security and logistical concerns. There are multiple venues that are associated with the IPL. Movement of the players and the teams becomes a concern. And on top of that, the local security provision that has to be made for each and every match. Yesterday in Dharamshala, the match was going on even as news of Pakistan aggression was coming. Officially, the BCCI has still maintained that that match at Dharamshala had to be suspended because of floodlights issue. It was believed that that's what the crowd was told at the ground so that there is no panic. But the actual reason was that they wanted to suspend it and have no activity there at the ground. But the BCCI till today has maintained the official line that that was only due to floodlights issue. But as news is now coming in, the IPL has been suspended for the remainder of the season. When it can pick up, we don't quite know because the situation with India and Pakistan at the LOC and at the border now continues to be extremely fluid and extremely dangerous.
Yes, well, of course, the optics are pretty wrong in a situation like this, but clearly there is an overhang, security overhang, Shivani, and I'm sure that the BCCI's decision has probably been communicated to the government. Would you not agree?
Yes, absolutely. They will, of course, keep the government in loop. Just till 2 minutes back when they were talking about this, they said that, see, it's not as if the government has asked us to do anything. I think they said the government is doing their job. What is our job is to see whether we should be playing cricket at this time. The word used was that when the country is at war, we cannot be seen playing cricket. So I think this is also more to show solidarity with the fact that we cannot be doing this. This is a mega tournament. Under very few circumstances does the IPL ever come under question. You would remember that when elections were happening in 2009 and security was denied to the IPL, it moved to South Africa. But other than that, the IPL continues to be the biggest draw in world cricket. And come rain or shine, nothing really affects it. There have been questions on so many things about the IPL in the past, but it doesn't really work out because IPL is the BCCI's showpiece tournament in India, and a lot of the global cricketers come and play here. But I think in this situation, it is about their security as well. We've got foreign cricketers on Indian land. We've got Indian cricketers and their well-being to take care of. And I think one can understand why they're not saying this openly, that there are security and logistical concerns. Yesterday, after the match in Dharamshala was cut short, there had to be a special train that had to be organized for the players to come because airports were under, airport activity was under suspension by the government. So here, I think it kind of eases one element of security apparatus, local police, and others who are employed in giving security to IPL matches need not do so anymore. And yes, the bigger question now for the board and the IPL governing body to understand would be what happens next as far as the remainder of the season is concerned. The window is only till May end. After that, international window opens. So we don't quite know. This is unprecedented ground, really, as far as the IPL is concerned.
Yes, it is unprecedented ground. Of course, there have been instances in the past when the IPL has moved overseas, and that has been also because of certain other exigencies, but this time quite clearly linked to a conflict. Shivani, the Pakistani establishment has also decided to continue their version of the IPL in the Middle East, isn't it? That's also something that was reported.
Breaking updates coming in. This is a Network 18 exclusive. The Press Information Bureau has also quoted CNBC TV 18's interview with World Bank Chief Ajay Banga, who had said that the World Bank has no role in the Indus Water Treaty. My colleague Greya Atul is also joining us with more on this to take us through what the PIB has quoted.
Absolutely, Shivani. PIB is constantly identifying a lot of fake social media accounts on social media platform X, and they are putting it out there for people to notice that these are fake Pakistani propaganda. So there's a war that we are fighting along the line of control on the international border that we share with Pakistan, and there's a war online on social media over disinformation, against misinformation. Here's what we have learned. This is a video that has been shared at the PIB fact check site, and the fact check is saying this is an old video. This is being shared on social media with the claim that Pakistan has launched a missile attack in India in retaliation to Operation Sindoor. Now PIB goes on to claim that this video that is being shared is of an explosive attack that took place in Beirut in Lebanon, and this is dating back to year 2020. They also go on to further underline that one should not fall for any kind of propaganda, particularly by these handles that are from Pakistan. This is fake propaganda spread by Pakistani handles, and one must only rely on official information. An underlined statement that has been posted. This is the video, Shivani, if I can just put it across for my viewers, where this is the old Beirut explosion video that has been falsely linked to Pakistan's attack on India. Next, we also see here that Pakistan-based handles, and this is again something that's been put out by the Press Information Bureau. Pakistani handles are circulating a video that's claiming that Pakistan army strikes have happened to posts in the Battle sector in Jammu and Kashmir, eliminating at least 12 Indian soldiers, as has been claimed by many Pakistani handles. It's been fact-checked. It says that the video is an old one. It's not related to any activity that is post-Operation Sindoor. This is an image of August 2011, and it has also been used in news reports from 2016 is what is being claimed by the PIB. This is the image here. which is again a fake propaganda by Pakistan. If you also take a look at another fake propaganda, it's a PIB mentioning how several Pakistan handles are circulating an old image that claims that a Pakistani missile hit an Indian S400 or the Sudarshan Chakra. Now, this is what they are going on to claim, that this is an image that's been shared in the year 2023 and it is of a fire at a military site in Moscow. Nothing to do with India. So this is the image here, which again is a fake claim by Pakistan. Further, if we take a look at some more of these claims that have been asserted, presented by the Press Information Bureau, they also go on to underline that their social media posts are falsely claiming that India was targeted. India has in fact targeted the Neelam Jheelam hydropower project, something that Pakistan has been reiterating so far. It has also got its propaganda channels on social media, put out that entire thing, which has been completely dissed by the Press Information Bureau. They also call these claims baseless, where they're also underlining this fact that Foreign Secretary Vikram Misri has clearly stated in a press conference that India has only targeted terrorist infrastructures in Pakistan and Pakistan-occupied Jammu and Kashmir. So here they are talking about how this particular claim is absolutely false, as it has been alleged that India attacked Neelam Jheelam hydropower project. This is particularly obviously putting the Indus Waters Treaty in abeyance, and in the aftermath there are these kind of reactions and false propaganda that's coming in from the Pakistani side. If you also further look at this one other post that has been in fact presented, where this particular person called Hassan Raza has said that Indian military used Ambala Air Base to attack Amritsar. This is again being claimed and quoted as a false claim that was made by Pakistan, that Indian military used Ambala Air Base to attack Amritsar and its own citizens. Absolutely false propaganda, completely being dissed by the Press Information Bureau. This claim, they say, is completely baseless and part of a concerted misinformation campaign. These are the words to be underlined here, where they have further put out a particular clip where they say that you can read more about the Pakistan attack on Amritsar otherwise, because this is what the claim really suggests, which is a completely false claim. So these are the facts that have been presented with ample amount of evidence. They have been countered, and all of these fake accounts have been established and collated. The data has been put out on the Press Information Bureau website.
Thanks a lot for that, Greha. Let's also go across to that update that we're tracking. CNBC TV18's interview with World Bank Chief Ajay Banga has been quoted by PIB. Ajay Banga, remember, had told Network 18 that World Bank has no role in Indus Water Treaty anymore. This is because it was being suspected that World Bank, that had originally facilitated the Indus Water Treaty between India and Pakistan, could come into play again if Pakistan was to approach them. But those hopes have been put paid too. My colleague Payal Mehta is also joining us for more. Payal.
Shivani, on day one when we reported that India would put the Indus Water Treaty into abeyance and multiple questions were asked, India was very, very confident that there is going to be no legal order to that. In fact, C.R. Patil on day one had told us that ek boond pani bhi Pakistan ko nahi jayega, and India is not scared of any legal hurdle because India feels that there are actually no legal hurdles. The clarification coming in from one of the key stakeholders over there, World Bank, is extremely important as far as India is really concerned. Shireen Ban's interview is of course being quoted by by PIB, the fact-checking unit of the government arm. But essentially, our sources in the union government and top sources have told us, Shivani, this is exactly the stand that the World Bank has communicated to India on day one after the Pahalgam attack. We're contemplating on making this happen as well. So that is something, of course, which has been there, and that was something that India really knows as well. So they're not really surprised because they know very, very well that World Bank is the facilitator, and India has slated the exact grounds on which the treaty has been put into abeyance. India in that communication to Pakistan has clearly said that you weren't behaving yourself, and you weren't behaving yourself the way you needed to, and that's the reason we've had to put this treaty into abeyance. So, of course, a strong shot in the arm as far as the Indian establishment is concerned.
Absolutely. Ajay Banga has made it clear that this is a treaty between two sovereign countries, and therefore the World Bank has no role in any mediation anymore. More updates coming in. The security meet that was ongoing at the Home Minister's residence has concluded. Sources are saying that stricter measures to strengthen airport security is what has been discussed as far as this meeting is concerned. The Home Minister was meeting several elements of the internal security in India, the BSF, the CISF and others. Of course, with the alarm that has been caused by Pakistan's escalatory actions on both the LOC and the international border, internal security in India and at the borders also becomes very, very important. My colleague Arunima is tracking more on this. Airport security is the biggest concern right now, Arunima?
It is, because, a number of airports have actually shut themselves ever since yesterday evening. Jammu, Chandigarh, Leh, Kulu, Jaisalmer, all these airports are currently shut for air traffic, because these airports, A, are very close to our air assets, B, because, we saw the attempt by Pakistan to breach our airspace, and therefore this call was taken that till further orders, these airports will not be, it will not be feasible to fly out from these airports, Chandigarh also. The other airports which are functional, for example, Delhi, Mumbai, even though they are, high-value targets for the enemy, the Delhi-Mumbai airports have been kept functional, but security has been tightened here already. Bureau of Civil Aviation Security has come out with stricter measures yesterday evening. There are multiple layers of checks that are happening now. If you are going to take a flight, even if you are going on a domestic flight, the advice...
Seems like we've lost that line with Arunima. Stricter measures to be taken to strengthen airport security is the big message that is coming in as far as that meeting is concerned. Pakistan stooping to a new law targeting civilian areas in the border region, especially across the LOC as well, where there has been both loss of property and life. Indian armed forces have thwarted multiple attack attempts by Pakistan. Now, two big escalations that have been attempted by Pakistan, one last afternoon and one late last evening. A missile-like weapon was used and found, crashed in Bathinda and Hoshiarpur. The object appears larger than a big drum. It is believed to be part of a missile that was intercepted and destroyed mid-air by the Indian Army. In Jaisalmer, bomb debris was found by locals in Rajouri's Sundarbani area. A missile-like debris has been found. It was shot down by the Indian Air Defence Mechanism. So multiple such infiltration attempts by air have been thwarted, but even on ground, we have confirmed reports that infiltration attempts have been made which have been foiled by the BSF. One of them, a major infiltration bid at the international boundary in Samba. Intel sources say that as many as 7 Jaish terrorists were neutralized by our forces.
Pakistan had launched several projectiles yesterday on Pathankot, which was one of the areas where a number of projectiles were actually aimed at.